That should be the theme music.
That is the theme music. Welcome everybody to the Red Pill Phone Tap. I am Wesley with my best friend in the world, Anthony, to bring you episode 19. Wow.
Man,
episode 19, ladies and gentlemen.
We keep doing it like it's a job or something.
I am not even 100% today. I had to convince Anthony it's not coronavirus. My left ball is swollen to about the size of a nectarine.
Well, damn,
it's not a good thing.
I'm
sitting on ice right now. If you're watching the live stream and you see me adjusting my balls, shout out to the Beast UFC on Instagram. It's not because my balls was hot. It's because my balls hurting and it's swollen. Welcome everybody to the Red Pill Phone Tap. We've got a great show for you today.
Some kinky sex y'all be having.
I would encourage everybody to shower after sex, or at least urinate after sex. How about that? We have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about the myth of man up. The myth of a real man would, and man up, man. We've got some great personal stories on this one. We're going to talk a lot about the myth of man up. We're going to talk also about, we didn't get to this last week, Anthony, do you shape your life around women, or do they shape their life around yours? We have a lot to talk about with that. And of course, we are going to, we talked about last week how we need to talk about this as a topic. You and I, Anthony, talk a lot about being weak. What it looks like to be weak.
Yeah.
What makes you weak? What makes you appear weak to women?
Yeah.
We don't talk enough about what makes you look strong. So we're going to hit that this week.
Okay.
What does strength look like? Let's jump right into it, Anthony. The myth of man up. You know, the first person that made me realize this how important this topic is Rollo Tomasi. And he talks about this a lot in his book series, The Rational Male. He talks about the myth of manning up. And he goes into it into a lot of detail, and I would encourage you guys to go back and I would encourage you to read all three of those books. Rollo Tomasi is actually coming out with a fourth book, Anthony.
Yeah.
And I think you're really going to be intrigued by the fourth book, because he's going to talk about
single mothers.
No, the manosphere, the feminine-centric society that we live in, and how religion takes a major role in that. I think you're going to find that fascinating, because you are one of those people that really, really is interested in how religion affects life.
Yeah.
Because you grew up in the church. I also grew up in the church. I had to study religious studies in college. So I'm looking forward to that too. If you guys want some deep, insightful shit about how this feminine-centric society has gone to the man up, please go visit Rollo Tomasi's book. However, if you want to get the simplified version from me tonight, I'm here to offer it. From what I see, Anthony, in this feminine-centric society, women are always about, we need to be 50-50, we need to be equal, we need to get paid the same, we need to do all this shit. But when none of that shit applies, and they still want you to do shit, and it makes no sense that you should have to do it, this is where man up comes into play.
Yeah, it's a quick guilt trip that you're not a man if you don't ... And it's a false premise, one, and it's a manipulation tactic. And how can a woman who has never had to be a man know how to tell a man how to be one?
No. Well, I mean, I wrote that in my notes prior to the show. First of all, the reason I wanted to talk about this tonight, Anthony, is because the man up and the phrase "a real man would ... whatever the fuckery they're going to spout. I wanted to bring this up because this is the most common blue pill residue that I see with some of our guys that are new red pillars.
Yeah.
They still fall for this shit. But to piggyback off what you were just saying, usually when it comes to gender dynamics on this show, we find a lot of truth serum if you just reverse the genders.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If I went up to a woman and even tried to utter the words, a real woman. No, I mean, you already laughed it off because you're right. It's like that would not be allowed. You know what? A real woman wouldn't take an epidural. Your kid can be affected by the epidural. I mean, a real woman wouldn't do it. By the way, shout out to my wife. She did not take an epidural, by the way. Before all these haters jump on us.
My comment for a woman that would, if I was to say a real woman, I'd say a real woman would shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And at that point, you know what I mean? Like, it's something about telling a woman not to be involved that gets up their craw.
For some reason. Way. I don't know what it is.
It's like they always want to be involved or like they are missing out on something, right? And soon as we start saying, okay, you want to be included, then fine. Pay your own way to shit.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Now they all of a sudden want to be traditional.
A real woman would pay their own way.
Right. Now all of a sudden, tradition matters. You know what I mean?
Right.
Equality is what you want, but no, tradition matters when it's something you don't want to do. So only if it benefits you is when you want fucking equality. And then traditional, when it benefits you, you want that to be adhered to. So you gotta pick your fucking lane, man. You can't drive two lanes. That's illegal. You will get pulled over for a violation.
Can't do that.
You can't do it. So you can't come to a man, tell a man how to be a man when you haven't had to walk the journey of what it takes to be a man.
And likewise, I can't tell a woman what it's like to be a woman. I can't go to a woman and tell her you shouldn't have an epidural for childbirth. Because a real woman would just do no epidural. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm here to point out that it sounds just as ridiculous. Now, Anthony, you've let him off light. The first time that I heard the phrase "man up," where I knew, similar to Patrice O'Neal with Black Phillip, and he's telling that the Black
Phillip show, yeah.
With Patrice O'Neal, with Black Phillip. No, there is no Black Phillip. On the Black Phillip show, he talks about how his girlfriend will do shit like, you need to take your medicine. And he's like, I don't know what it is about her saying that.
His diabetes medicine, so it was a life and death situation, yeah.
So he has to take it, right? But there was something about her coming in and being like, you need to take this. It's like something in my gut told me there was something wrong about her coming in. And it was her way of being able to tell him what to do. Before you roll your eyes, the best example that I always have with this is when kids know that you can't curse around them. They know it's like the one time they can call adults out. Hey, small ears in the room, and they point at their own ears. Because it's the only time that they're allowed to correct adults, except with me, by the way.
Yeah, you can't do that with me as far as, because even my own son, he knows, Dad uses bad words. Yes, you can't repeat them.
I remember saying this to my godchildren one time. I was like, yeah, absolutely. you're right. I did say a bad word around you, and I'm an adult, and I'll say what the motherfuck I want to. Were you there for that? I feel like you were.
No,
were
me and you was having this conversation.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. I was like, I feel like you were there for that. And it was like, and I did that in front of their parents, and I was like, look, dude, you're letting these motherfuckers correct you. It ain't fucking right.
Fuck that.
But that's what I liken it to. There's something that, like, there's something wrong in the Matrix.
Exactly.
And the first time that I felt that little tingle of, like, hey, this isn't right.
Pause real quick, Wesley.
Go ahead.
How many times in your life have you had that tingle and you ignored it?
And I ignored it.
Right. You're
Right.
like, but I love her. So if I care for her, I would just let her have this argument. And just be like, yes, dear. Okay, dear.
Happy wife, happy life.
And now on the flip side, you're like, I'd be goddamn if I allow this shit to happen on my watch.
Yeah. Well, this story is actually not even about a woman. And this is what I want to get at tonight, is a lot of time the man up thing, it doesn't just happen with women.
Men on men.
Men will participate.
Yeah.
Now, Anthony, in the black community, when black people dog on other black people, what is the term called? Where they throw black people under the bus? You're like, God damn, man, why are you trying
Cooning?
to... What?
You talking about cooning?
Is that what it's called?
Well, when we talk about black people that's trying to make other black people look bad in public,
Okay.
You call that cooning.
Oh, okay.
And what was that? What you're talking about? Or you talking about something else?
Well, trying to make them look bad, kind of like how Gail, Oprah's friend, was talking about Kobe.
Perfect cooning situation.
Yeah. Where it's just like, look, dude, we already got enough people fucking trying to bring us down.
Right. We don't need our own people.
We don't need our own fucking motherfucker.
Right.
We don't need people with insider information, especially.
Right. Yeah, it's like, don't air the dirty laundry, even if it's dirty. Because one of the things about, and I won't go too far on this, but the reason black people get uptight about that type of shit is that everybody's racist against fucking black people. All other races are racist against black people. So when your own fucking people turn on you, it's like, God damn it, man.
So nobody's on our side,
right? Not
damn it!
Not even our own motherfuckers can be on that side. It's like, listen, because if you look at black people in general, man, black people aren't fucking aggressive against other fucking races. Like, they don't go out.
That's a good point. I never thought of it like that. But
it seems to be the other way around. So when our own fucking people do it, it's like, what the fuck, bro? So we dog on each other about doing that. It's like, especially if you have a platform that can reach millions, right? Mm-hmm. So not only black people are listening to it; these are other people. So it's like, man, you're airing the family secrets out, man. Don't do that shit. That's foul. That's fucked up. So we call it staying on code. Right?
Oh, really?
So, staying on code mean you don't fucking air dirty laundry out in public for other motherfuckers that are involved. If you're going to say something like that, guess what? You're going to have a community meeting with closed doors with only us there, and we talk about it amongst each other, not out in public where other people get to judge, because we already got shit. We already got the fucking what's the prejudged shit, but damn. But things that already people believe about us anyway, now you're adding on top of it or reconfirming some shit. And it's like, we don't need you to fucking help other people's fucking dumbass
preconceptions. Or preconceptions, yeah.
Preconception.
So it's kind of the same situation. There's enough people in the community helping out women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. White knights.
Yeah, this was coming from my brother. the government, the divorce laws in general. But this came from my brother, and this was an ex that I had in Austin, whom you've met.
Okay.
And she was talking about she had moved out after high school, and she was talking about coming home. I'm sorry, coming back to live with her mother. And I was already kind of having issues with this chick to start with, right? So I was like, here we go. This bitch is coming home. She's not the friendliest motherfucker in the world. She's very quiet. Just wasn't a pleasant cat to be around. You know what I mean? It was it was kind of like your infant when you first bring them home. They don't give you any smiles. They can't talk. You're just trying to keep the infant alive for the first 8 weeks. That's how this fucking kid was as an adult. There was just no joy to be had from her. And unless you just gave her the perfect gift on Christmas, even then it wasn't that big a deal. She was just a real quiet, ungrateful motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was just going to be money and less privacy. All the moving somebody into your house. All the things that suck, but there's some things that don't suck. Not with this girl. Like, it was all the things that suck. And I was like seriously considering calling off the relationship because this girl was about to move back in with her mom. Now, her and I had already gotten our own place. So we were moved out of her place. So I was already kind of establishing my own place. So I'm telling my brother, and my brother's like, really? Is it really that bad? And I was like, look, dude, I don't have any kids. I don't want to deal with this shit. He's like, you're really going to call off a relationship because the chick's kid might move home? And I'm like, I'm seriously considering it. And he goes, you know what, man? You know what? Man up. Man up.
How did you respond to that?
I responded it the same way. I go, I don't want to deal with this shit, man.
Okay.
So I wasn't going to be...
You didn't feel guilty.
The only reason that people do that is because it does make you feel guilty. It wouldn't make me feel guilty today.
Well, I'm saying, like, doesn't it make you, like, you did something wrong when you hear it? It's like, oh, you're on the wrong side of this argument.
Yeah, well, that kind of shit used to work on me.
Well, it did on me, too. So
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get your mindset when you heard it. Like, this is why they use it. It's not because it doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's almost like a finish him. That's what man up means. Like, finish him. And then you do the move like, yeah, man up. Accept that bitch kids. What? You mean not mine, right? Her kids. And not just hers, another dude's sperm evidence, right?
Yeah.
So it's not as easy for me to do today because my mindset is so different. But back then, I probably would have been like your brother, Wesley. You're in a relationship. You're only thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
sounds like somebody needs to man up. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
If you was a real man, Wesley.
If you were a real man.
You would prove to her.
You would take that other dude's kid.
You would prove to her that you can be a beta male provider and provide for her kids and make sure that she feels comfortable enough to trust you around her kids.
That's what a real man would do.
Hashtag stepdad.
Yeah, and it's just, this is what I'm talking about. The reason, listen, a real man dialogue, the reason it's still around is because it works.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you challenge, and what it kind of taps into is you're challenging a man's toughness, right?
or mental toughest, right?
I mean, you challenge any toughness with a man. It's going to challenge him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm not a man if I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
What, you don't believe I can do this? Watch this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of that Eminem attitude, of I love when people say I can't do shit because watch, you know what I'm saying? And here you go, man. Throw the bottle back.
Appreciate it.
This is one of those things that, like I said, it's a trap men fall into. And this is literally the last blue pill residue I see when men are transitioning into red pill life. One of the things, Anthony, we observed this week, we are a part of a Facebook group that observes Corey Wayne. And someone posted in the group, it was a meme, and the meme basically said, whenever I'm dating a girl that has a home, then I too now have a home, and if she doesn't like what I have to say, she can move out. You should have seen
something
some of the
along
responses.
those lines. Yeah.
I mean,
the responses wrecked my day. Like, I was having a bad day anyway, but it wrecked it. It was like Wesley. It was like my car had bad brakes, and I knew it, but I was still adjusting for the slow brake reaction. And then I read those comments, and I just lost all my fucking brakes, and I just wrecked my goddamn car. And that's what those comments did to my day.
I'm bringing up the post now, and I'm sorry, guys. I should have had this ready for everybody to go.
There it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here
it is.
So, gentleman at Duxch, that's DUXTCH, on Twitter. And he says, whether I have a house or not, if I date a girl with a house, I become the man of that house, and she will listen to me. No problem so far. I mean, do we have a problem so far?
No.
And then he kind of tongue-in-cheek says at the very end, he says, and she will listen to me, or in the next sentence says, or she can get out. Basically or she can get out of her own house.
Yeah.
Some of the comments under this is kind of what inspired this thread this week, was like, wow. These beta motherfuckers. I'm sorry, I was reading someone made a joke that says, damn hobosexuals, was making a joke and caught me in mid motherfucker. And I went to motherfuckers.
This group tends to bring out a lot of disdain for blue pill guys, man. Like, it's very hard to have conversations with one, and I just don't deal with it. I tend to, because I can be an introvert, so an introvert having a podcast and shit, but I can be an introvert at times. So I can fucking disappear on you if you start talking a lot of blue pill shit, right?
Yeah.
And
I think that's what happened to us in this group this week.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We kind of started tuning this out because this group is getting really overrun with blue pill guys, the one that we're talking about. Really overrun.
Do you see it? Okay, because for me, my patience runs out when a guy tries to validate his beta arguments and then says that I'm angry or outraged or enraged, and it's like, no, motherfucker. I just hold my stance and be who the fuck I am. I don't have to.
Which is holding your masculine frame bread and butter.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yeah.
Just because now you as a man trying to throw some female shit at me, like, well, look at, you're being angry, you over masculine male, and I think one guy in there was actually he was saying that he was like speak. He said hashtag speak alpha male, right? That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy comes in behind and was like, that's not alpha. And I'm like, you wouldn't know the fucking clue about what alpha is, bro.
Well, let's look at these comments that seem, if you still buy into the man up stuff, these comments don't seem that bad. Our friend Sam, whom I disagree with, just
not Sam Para, huh?
Yeah, just so I'm not being cryptic.
Sam
I disagree
normally
with him.
gives good content.
He does. I usually like Sam's takes, but again, this isn't a dog on Sam. This is more like, this is the most common blue pill residue I see from our red pill guys. And Sam falls victim to this. He says, I don't agree with that. The fact that you are the leader is because you have everything to back up that leadership, which is not true. You have your life sorted out, and that should be your main purpose in life. Now, you should have your life sorted out, but that may not mean that you may or may not own a house.
Right. You see, people try to blend.
Well, hold on. Let me read his last sentence. This is where he really misses. If you act like you are a pussy, I said, if you act like that, you are a pussy trying to exercise masculinity. And it's not true. Let me read my comment real quick, Anthony, so that we can just kind of get through it, because this is where I want you guys to be thinking. So I came in and said, a lot of guys are attacking this gentleman's opinion on this post. Maybe he should be, quote, a real man and be a beta in the relationship until he can afford a home?
No.
Maybe he should, quote, man up and help pay the house note, but always, quote, know his place and understands it's her home and he, quote, can get out if he doesn't follow her rules? Anthony? This is a question mark.
Listen, man.
He should pay the house note and it should be her house and follow her rules?
Rhetorical shit. But
well,
I know where you're going, and you know I agree with you.
well then I'm just checking with you.
I agree with you, man.
And then I put, since he doesn't own a home, he should, quote, be a real man and not date women that own homes.
See how stupid it's getting?
That's what I'm saying.
It's just dumb. Like, you can't support. See, the thing is, they say that shit that make it sound good for women, right? This is the shit that you say to make it sound good for a woman so she won't get offended. And the thing is, man, this is the thing. If a woman is offended about who you are as a man, don't fucking date her, right? Don't be with her.
And she can choose not to date you.
Right. So the thing
These are adult women we're talking about here.
What you think about what another man thinks is beta to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So that's why I don't get involved with this shit. Like I said this at work today. Somebody was saying something about, I wanted to do something with this chick sexually, whatever. I'm like, I say, look, man, I don't judge what another man does with his dick, bro. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, you can do whatever the fuck you want to. I don't care about none of that. The thing is about when other guys tried to chime in. Remember we talked about this in a couple of podcasts ago. We were talking about dogpiling on shit. When they see somebody struggling, they was like, oh shit, let me get in on that. You know, that's what these guys are doing right now. They're like,
that's a scavenger mentality.
Yes.
Yep.
You can't fucking jump in just because you was like, this will make me sound attractive to some bitch, right? And the thing is, this is a male group, so there's no bitches to even impress. For me, my thing is this. And I sent a video out, and I was talking about another guy that we was discussing earlier, and I asked him, I said, maybe this is a cultural thing, maybe it's a cultural difference, but I don't get when we're in a group of other men of empowering and learning and trying to get advice from each other that when another guy fucking want to question why someone is bringing up certain topics or whatever. Like, it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, why would you care? Like, if it doesn't pertain to you, move the fuck on. But you want to be involved in something that you're not interested in, just like some female shit, and impart yourself into something you don't. He's like, what are you guys doing over here? I don't like that. You guys should stop doing that. Bitch, you should just stop. Why you stop? Keep it moving. If you're not interested in it, why you have to come in and interrupt us to tell us you're not fucking interested? And then demand that we stop doing what you're not interested in. Like, that's fucking retarded.
One of the comments here says, and he uses quotes, "You can't run shit on a bitch's dime." This is supposedly Sergeant Willie Pete. Okay, a little bit of an oversimplification, Richard Miller. What if you meet a rich bitch who is just set for life? She's a trust fund baby. And she falls in love with you. So don't date her because she's rich.
Hell yeah.
And you're not.
I'm a dater. I would date her.
But Anthony, Sergeant Willie Pete says you can't run shit on a bitch's dime.
Run shit, man. Look,
motherfucker, have y'all ever heard of what a pimp is?
Let me ask you something.
Have you ever heard of what a pimp is? Is a pimp a beta male?
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
And he's running all
that shit on a literally on a bitch's dime.
And literally off her ass.
This is that fucking shit. This is blue pill residue.
It don't make sense. That's remember when I said they want that shit to make it sound good to somebody else, because I guarantee you they're telling a bitch this shit. You're not telling another guy this. Maybe you're telling another blue pill guy, but you can't talk to no red pill guy about this shit right here.
Yeah, because it's not that simple. Now, if you get into the situation where you're dating the trust fund baby and she just will not submit to you, you could probably be like, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Bitches just can't make more money than men. But I'll tell you what, if I'm a single guy and I'm dating and a rich bitch falls in love with me, motherfucker, I'm going to try it.
Yeah. Look.
I'm going to try it.
I've for the most part, man, it just happened to be this way. But the women I've dated seem to be more successful than I was financially. So there's a few times where I was making the most money I was ever making, where, you know, I was okay. I wasn't, but even still, I didn't go out fucking marketing how much fucking money I made, right? So, but the women I attracted were in, you know, okay places financially. So I didn't need to. When we talk about vetting women today, in the sense of what we do now versus what we used to do before, the money shit for me was never intimidating to me. It never intimidated me like, oh shit, what am I doing in my life? She making, my ex-wife was making 2 times as much. Was it? Wait, 3 times as much money as I was making. But guess how much student loan debt she had? She was like 6 figures in student loan debt. So the money she was making, she needed to pay that off. I didn't have 6-figure student loan debt. So I was in a better situation. So when you start to balance the scales that way, you was like, well, this bitch got a lot of debt. I don't have that debt on me. So she's in a far worse position, even though she make far more money. She need that money to fucking offset her fucking debt. Right? So you can't just say and look at it at one level and say, oh, well, she's a doctor and this guy's a fucking bus driver, so she's obviously out of his league. Right? Well, how much debt she's in? How many kids do she have? You know what I'm saying? It's like
but Anthony, men, they need to man up and take care of them kids in that debt.
yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, but Anthony, you brought up the perfect example. I mean, when we're talking about a man going into a woman's house and kicking her out,
Yeah.
men. This isn't women in this group. These are men, and men are like. I'll read the next comment. This dude is still a beta male bitch. My comment to him. No, sir.
Nothing beta about this.
No, sir. Whether this gentleman is right or wrong, this is as alpha as it gets.
Yeah, it's nothing
by the true definition of the word.
Now, and again, man, the premise of the meme was still like a tongue-in-cheek joke.
Tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah,
right.
Tongue-in-cheek joke, and these guys are fucking trying to make it, here's my chance to sound smart and talk shit about somebody else.
And it's a weird thing because they get some kind of manly feeling out of this. And they're talking with other men.
Yeah.
This is so ingrained in their spirit.
Yeah.
That they think we're going to get turned on as other men by this. You know what I'm saying? It's really insane.
I want to know, were we the only two objecting to these comments?
100%.
We were?
Yeah.
Wow.
100%.
Damn, that's so fucking... That's crazy, man.
Again, this is oversimplification at its best, right? Because, and another thing is, too, I talked about this, Anthony, earlier, but it's the person that tweets this out. They made sure to include his photo twice. Are you looking at the screen, Anthony?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they have his avatar right here, but they make sure to blow his avatar up.
Yeah.
And it's a black man with his shirt off. So I think they were also, whoever posted this, not the person that posted this in the group, but it's clear that he got this from somewhere.
Right.
The person that made this, not only do you get to see this guy's photo and his avatar, but we're going to blow up the avatar. It was clearly a little bit of racism behind it. Not Ulysses who posted this. He was seeing the humor in it. Again, the way what the post says is, whether I have a house or not, if I date a girl with a house, I become the man of that house and she will listen to me. Or she can get out. And again, I think when he says, or she can get out, he's making a joke, right? But I'm sorry, man. There's nothing I disagree with prior to the joke.
No. The
what
thing is...
Again, in my post, I was like, so what do you want him to do? Until he gets his own home? He's just going to kind of be subservient with his tail between his legs?
Right.
That's not how it works, guys.
What did I post that was so subservient? And I said, look at this subservient shit. And I was like, oh, the guy that was the lady that was doing some kind of speech, and she pulled the guy up and asked her about how if she looked fat in the dress, and that's subservient shit right there.
Yeah, and to kind of paraphrase Anthony's video, I'm sorry if I butcher this, but Anthony posted a video where a gal was trying to teach women, and I'm using quotes here, teach women what not to do. And it was another great example, by the way, of why women can't be president. As I continue,
that's Wesley's
to say
2020 phrase.
But she comes in and she gives examples of a guy. You know, one of the examples she gave was the gentleman's watching a Marlins game. It's his favorite team, and they're about to make the best play, and he's trying to see it live. And she's like, "What are you thinking right now?" You know, and the gentleman. There were many questions that the gal was asking like that, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what the video was. And the guy was doing this very tongue-in-cheek. He was trying to get the answer. He was trying to give the answer that keeps him out of trouble.
Right.
As if that's the strategy. You know. And one of them was, as you pointed out, Anthony, one of them was, do I look fat in this dress? You know, no, I want to know, do I look fat in this dress? And it's all this fucking dancing around. Oh, God, what do? I don't want to make her mad. You know what? If that's what you're doing as a man, you lost that battle years ago.
Yeah.
If your wife can just become a 2-year-old toddler at a moment's notice and take the entire house's happiness level down to 0 because she ate a bunch of food and she got fucking fat and you, quote-unquote, said the wrong fucking thing, man, get the fuck out of here, dude. I will never, for the rest of my life, live under a fucking dictatorship like that. You know what? Toddlers don't run the house, Anthony. There's a reason why we don't put the electric bill in the 2-year-old's name. Toddlers don't run shit in the house. Fellas, when you quote-unquote man up and let women have their way.
Or step up. That was another one.
Oh, step up is another one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, specifically, that's the real controversial one.
Yeah.
That has to do with another man's walking and talking sperm.
Yeah.
You need to step up.
And stepdad.
Step up, stepdad. Right? Yeah. And then, after you step up and stepdad, what is it, Anthony? The woman then tells you, she's like, all right, we're going to throw you a huge party. We're going to, actually, in this party, we're going to fly in some bitches from South America. They're each going to take turns sucking your dick.
Nope.
And, of course, after this ceremony where all of my family walks up and hugs you and thanks you for taking over these kids that don't belong to you.
Donate money to you and shit.
They're going to throw you some money. And then, of course...
Because you're going to need it, motherfucker.
Yeah, and so after that, and by the way, of course, I give you a blowjob every Friday afternoon when you get home from work.
Nice.
To show that I'm thankful. What else do they get, Anthony?
None
None of that shit.
Yeah, you don't get none of that shit.
Oh, wait.
You get to step up, and then if it's not enough, you get to be stepped on and stepped out on. Yeah, that's what happens.
Yep. And they will take you and use your resources and see, that's the problem, guys. When you become the resource guy, somebody that has more resources if they're interested in the chick,
oh man,
they can move the chick in their direction.
All
that manning up you did doesn't fucking count for shit, does it?
Hell no. Fucked up story of the year. Guy in Detroit was dating a chick. Dating her while she was pregnant with another man, right? She put the dudes that she was dating on the birth certificate. And by Michigan laws, he has to take care of that kid. His kid or not, she put his name on the fucking birth certificate. He has to pay child support for that kid.
Now, I have a story about this. This, by the way, what you're saying is true. So, what you may not have heard in that story is, depending on the hospital and depending on the city, they will bring that dude out in the hall by himself. Now, this is what they do in Austin, Anthony.
Okay.
They will bring the guy out in the hall. You know, this is a very progressively liberal city.
Yeah, Austin is like another L.A.
Yeah. And they bring the guy, first of all, they won't do this in front of the mother. They bring him out in the hall, and they're like, hey, she wants to put your name on the birth certificate. Just letting you know. You know? And then the guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean, it's my kid. okay, well, we want to let you know you don't have to do this. Is she pressuring you to do this? This really happened. Yeah.
Wow.
A friend of mine in Austin, they're like, before you do this, you do have rights.
Well, in Texas, if your name on that birth certificate, you're the father, but you can appeal in court with DNA testing.
Yeah.
And now, I remember when my son was born, they did ask me if I wanted to get a DNA test.
Well, this must be the white and Asian thing. They didn't ask me a goddamn thing. They were just like, looking at that baby, looking at me. They're like, they kind of gave the nod to the Asian girl, like, okay, he's white. We won't do this. He's white. We'll make sure his name gets on the birth certificate. He'll be on the hook, girl. He'll be on the hook. And obviously the baby looks a lot like me. But I don't know. DNA results come back in a couple weeks. Anyways. Yeah, the step up, Anthony, is a real controversial one. Mm-hmm. Because the step up implies if you want to date the girl, you now need to step in and take care of her failed relationship that has manifested itself in the way of human beings.
And all she has to do is accept it. What is she stepping up to do?
Well, Anthony, she stepped up to be the mother. What are you talking about?
She stepped up and got pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like that. The response. This is the thing, man. We talked about this. I don't know if it was you and I talking about this before, but we talked about how the law should change about if a man doesn't agree to have the kid, that the woman is, because again, women laws, her body, her choice. If she wants to have the kid and you don't, then you're not legally liable. Now, you may lose your rights to the kid, whatever, what have you, but you're not legally liable if you're not approved, because you both were involved, but she makes the ultimate choice to put you in an 18-year responsibility that you are saying you don't want to have. So,
well, if you want to go deeper down the rabbit hole, Anthony, on this, which we always do, one of the things would be, they do a lot of the testing that they can do now to see if there's something wrong with the fetus is light years beyond where it was just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What if there was going to be something wrong with the baby? It was going to be mentally retarded.
Down syndrome, yeah.
Down syndrome. Or it could be something as simple as Turner's syndrome.
Deformity.
Yeah, deformity.
Like the heart's too small. When it's going to be a preemie.
A rational person, and by the way, wherever you stand on it, nobody's wrong.
Right.
Okay.
No, these are just examples of
giving you a for instance.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that the guy does not get to have any part of that decision.
What?
No, he can't tell a woman.
Wow.
Nope. You have to abort it.
You know how expensive it is to have a disabled child? Knowingly having a disabled child?
Yeah. So if you guys don't have a healthy relationship, or she's some sort of like weird, overly religious person, I don't care what the doctors say.
Yeah. I hate that shit.
I don't care what the doctors say. We're going to leave this in God's hands. And you're like, well, but I'm not very religious. Fellas, I'm trying to tell you this because, you know what? Let's just go ahead and have this out, Anthony. How many times have you... Let's just go sidebar on this because as we talk about men who have to man up in this segment, this is another thing that will happen. I need you guys to understand that religion is a huge, huge thing in your relationship. Okay? Now, I am atheist. Anthony, I don't know if you want to reveal where you are religious-wise.
I don't have a religion.
Okay. So, and we're two gentlemen that grew up in the church. So we're kind of familiar with being really, really in and really, really out. Okay? Now, I'm going to, so that we're not talking about anybody out there in the ether, I was dating a gal. Anthony, to bring you up to speed, this is the gal that was a lobbyist in D.C. and then moved to Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was dating her, and she told me, she was like, hey, I'm not really like Muslim. This is her talking.
Okay.
You know? I'm not really like Muslim, but I love the Muslim community.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the Muslim community. I love the community of church. Okay? So I was like, all right, I can kind of get that. She's like, and I want to have a child. She's telling me this really early in the dating. And I appreciated it because I wanted to have a child too.
Okay.
So this wasn't something that was taxing me. And I was like, okay, well, let's talk about it.
Well, it taxed the fuck out of me.
Well, I wanted to have a child, and I knew I was kind of running out of time.
Okay.
I was running out of time because although I was only 41 years old rather, I was only 41 years old. I knew that women that are in my age range are running out of time.
Yeah.
So I was either going to have a baby with someone that's in my age range, and when I say age range, within a decade of me, 30 and above, or I was going to have a baby with a weird fucking relationship where the bitch is like 20 years younger than me, and I didn't really want that. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this gal, she says, I love the community of church, and I want the kid to be part of the church, and I'm Muslim. And I was like, okay. And she's like, but again, I don't really believe in all this stuff or any of that. I just enjoy the community of church. And I was like, all right, I think I could do this. But then I went and I talked to one of my friend's wives, and she fucking broke it down for me. And and by the way, she's right. Even though I say never take dating advice from women, it's okay to take religious advice from women. But she pointed out to me, she goes, this is a huge deal. She goes, imagine if your friend and we disagreed on religion, and they have my two godchildren. And one of us was going to church, and the other was not going to church. One person would be the bad guy. Yeah. Either the one that's making them go to church, or, hey, how come Daddy doesn't go to church?
Right.
And this becomes a real fundamental problem in the house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wes, but I'm only dating her. I'm not having kids with her. If that ever fucking gets serious and it becomes a relationship, and you're in a relationship, kids are coming later. God damn it. Okay? Kids are coming later. So let me tell you, that is a huge, huge issue.
I never heard of a Muslim that's Muslim but don't believe it that much. Like that, it don't make sense to me. It's like it's almost like she didn't want to scare you off with the Muslim shit.
I believed her because again, she was a very rational female. About as rational as I get. Again, she's down there on Capitol Hill as a lobbyist for oil and gas. Worked in politics for years, worked on Hillary Clinton's campaign, her presidential campaign. Very, very... Her parents were part of the church, and she liked the community aspect of it. But as a rational human being, she was probably like, I don't believe any of this fucking magic and shit. What is this? Harry Potter? Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? So, but I'm telling you, even with someone like that understanding, where I could have just stayed home, because I painted that picture for her. I was like, so I could just stay home and not go to, what do they call it, mosque?
Yeah.
Yeah, not go to mosque
Or temple.
or temple, whatever the case may be. And she was like, yeah, there's no problem. I'm like, because I watch football, God damn it. And,
For real.
And she's like, yeah.
That's my religion.
Yeah, that's my religion. But it's like, even then, Anthony, how would that logistically work? Probably not very well. Wow, I guess there's a fire somewhere. How would that work? It probably wouldn't work very well.
It doesn't because, like we were having a discussion earlier today, it's like people don't interrupt you when you're talking about religious shit because they don't want to. They feel like they disrespecting your religion.
Yeah.
And if they just, so people kind of give this like free pass to religion shit. And honestly, man, religious people are the most controlling people. And they use a lot of guilty tactics and manipulation tactics when they talk about religion. When you either disagree with it or you don't want to be involved in it, So it's I'm sensitive to it because, like I said, I was like a Christian for over 30 years, and I believed it, lived it, but it's not what I believe now. So.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because I could easily see getting into a marriage. And that, again, this man up, a real man would. Hey, come on, Wesley. I mean, both of your kids are going to the mosque. I mean, don't you think it confuses them that mommy's going and daddy's not going? A real man would go to mosque with the kiddos. And I'm like, and going back to the original sentiment that we started with, I don't want to do this shit, man.
Right, and that should be the end of it. And I've been in this situation, right? I've been in this situation with conversations, with possibilities of having kids and having different religion connotations.
Well, in the black community, there's not a lot of people out there that are, even if they don't go to church, they're kind of like...
Right. They still claim...
Oh, no. It's not even like an option for Jesus not to be real. That's not even an option.
Right.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah. Because they finish each other's sentences like, won't he do it? And it's like always this belief like of... Like if you see a black comic come on the stage and he talk about religion, he got the audience automatically, right? With the, with a black audience, yeah. If you was like, won't he do it? And like they make jokes about religious stuff, not in a bad way, but like to talk about church shit, that they'll get the audience real quick. So it's like shouting out their city. Like,
well, sidebar to that, just so you know, I've heard comics come on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they're not necessarily white.
Yeah.
And they'll come on there, and it's usually like an episode where they're having a few drinks on the episode.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make fun of that shit. Like, it's easy comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got some built-in shit where they're doing like this harder form of comedy. Do you understand what I mean?
When you say on the show or in their acts?
No. They'll talk about on Joe Rogan's show where they're talking about comedy, kind of the behind the curtain talks.
Yeah.
And it's usually like if they're if they've had a few drinks and they're being a little too honest, they'll talk about. And the one that comes to mind that they talk about a lot is when like a comic that comes on that's like a current comic that's, like a badass current comic. Mm-hmm. Like, and it wasn't Tom Segura that said this, but like a Tom Segura or, a Bill Burr or, just someone we all agree is like, oh, he's a top notch dude.
Okay.
The one that I've heard made fun of a lot is Steve Harvey. It's like, is he really even doing comedy? It just kind of seems like he knows his audience. And he's just...
Exactly.
Like, and they started pointing out different things. And it made me notice. like in the Kings of Comedy, where he would play like an old song. Because remember in the Kings of Comedy, he was the MC.
Right.
And he would play like some old R&B music.
Yeah.
Like, get out your seat.
Yeah.
And it's not wrong what he's saying.
No.
But is it comedy?
It's not.
It's just a major kissing the audience's ass moment. That's what I say. That's what I'm saying.
Playing to the emotions.
Will say. Yeah.
Religion to me plays to your emotions.
Right.
Just like the man up shit. It plays to your male emotions. Mm-hmm. Where you're, like we were saying, we're very competitive. So if you tell a man up, that's like, oh, you can't take this punch? Oh, you can't jump this building? You're not Superman? Oh man, I'm used to dating Superman. You ain't Superman?
Anthony, do you have a personal story about someone telling you to man up, or a real man would, or step up? Do you have a good one?
Let me think, man.
I will tell you.
I hear it.
It seems very synonymous with taking care of someone else's kids.
I hear it a lot. And I was just about to say that it usually does deal with taking another woman's baggage, right? But for me, it always be in a situation where a woman wants me to do something I don't want to do.
Well, and also it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to do it.
Well,
like there's not a lot of rational sense.
It's not. It don't take. Yes, exactly. It's not rational. It doesn't make rational sense.
We always talk about on this show the truth serum is if you take the genders, you reverse it, and you see if it makes sense. If I guilted a woman into taking care of kids that were not hers, and I said, hey, well, you know what? A real woman would step in here and give my children a mother. Really? Is that what you want? You want me, but you don't want my kids? Okay.
Yeah.
Forget it. No. Get out. Get all the way out.
And I had a woman tell me that she didn't want to date me because I had kids. She didn't care that my kids wasn't living with me exactly. She just knew she knew I had kids. She didn't want to date me because of it.
Well, I wish more men would do that.
Well, yeah, that's we
By the way,
talked about.
Did you throw her any shade for that?
No.
You're like, all right, I'm not your cup of tea. No problem.
Yeah. Now, granted,
if you were a woman,
we still had fun, hung out, and hooked up though. So it wasn't that was the end. It was that we couldn't. We wasn't going to do anything beyond that.
If you were a woman, you would have later put up some sort of weird Facebook post and been like, fellas, if you don't understand when you're dating a single mother that her kids come first and that you're going to have to love those kids, then you should not date a single mother. Man, motherfucker, get out of here. You know what I mean? That is only available to women. And that's how you know man up or a real man would or any of this shit is fuckery.
I'm out here dating. You're not out here anymore, but I'm meeting more women without kids.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a little weird to me because at first I thought that's all that was out here. Like, it was not going to be any women without kids. And there's women out here that don't want kids, and there's women out here that just doesn't have them. And I was like, wow, I'm looking at these motherfuckers like, what happened? Like, and you're cute. Like you, when I was a blue pill, I would always have this, like, I would have raw dog this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my, like, blue pill mindset. Like, oh, I would have had a baby with you. But there's women out here, man, that don't have kids, don't want kids, or they're accepting of other people's kids, but they don't have kids of their own, and they don't want them at this point, right? So
why is that? Because they never had them, and now it's just too late
well,
for
I think
them,
people are more aware the older a woman is, that the more disadvantages she is as far because when they talk about a woman pregnant, like she giving birth, it has the 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot out, right? When the woman's giving birth. So there's a lot of complexities involved with an older aged woman at birth. And let's be honest, not all women at older ages are the most healthy, right?
Yeah.
So what they call the geriatric syndrome.
Well, my wife had a baby at 35, and it was officially, and I'm not making this up, guys. Look it up if you want to. My wife had a baby 6 months ago, 35 years old, and it was deemed a geriatric pregnancy. No. There's a medical time when it happens. I'm not sure if it's 33 or 35, but it is considered a geriatric pregnancy, and it is handled way different than a fucking 22-year-old bitch.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very, very different situation. And that's 35. And Anthony, you've told me you've been dating bitches out here that are fucking 50.
Yeah.
That think
they think they can still have a baby. Yeah.
Bitch, you ain't Halle Berry. Motherfucker. I mean, Halle Berry has no shortage of money. She's obviously in very good health because she looks fucking amazing.
Still.
And, yeah, she can have... I mean, and again, my wife was kind of the same way. Like Halle Berry. In very, very good shape. As a matter of fact, my wife, when she got pregnant, was quite literally in the best shape of her life. Even more than when she was in
college,
Division I
yeah,
field hockey player. Like, she was in the best shape of her life. So she had no issues. But there's a certain protocol with a geriatric pregnancy. And she was certainly one of them. Anthony, let's go on to our next topic here. And this is a really, really good segue. Because we were talking about single moms. We were talking about being a stepdad. And this next segment goes into, do you shape your life to women? Or do women shape their life to you?
For the most part of my life, I did shape my life around women.
What does that look like?
It is never being enough. It is never being able to live up to a fantasy of what we just talked about, a real man is. And you are always chasing some invisible figment of perfection, right? And they get to just pull out this fucking card of you're not being enough, and you gotta live your life as if you're inadequate, because you can't. It's never enough. You can never be good enough. And guess what, Wesley? They choose you, and they didn't choose you because you wasn't enough. But for whatever reason, once they have you, you're not good enough. And we understand what that is now, right? But before, and you're like, I idolize this bitch. I would fucking worship the ground she worked. I would drink her bath. Well, you hear God say this shit. You know what I'm saying? Drink her bath water. That's fucking disgusting. Dead skin cells and fucking yeast infection in the water. You ain't drinking that shit. Let's be honest. So, for men to say shit like that, we gotta get out of that shit. We gotta get out of this pedestalizing women for no other reason than them being a woman. We gotta stop that.
Well, I wrote down a few of the things you were saying. Never being enough. And boy, that's so well said, Anthony. This is what happens when you let women be the captain.
Mm-hmm.
We use this analogy on this program time and time and time and time again. You have to be the fucking captain of the vessel. And guess what your wife is? She's the executive officer. She's the XO. But not the captain. And the reason that you have to be the leader, and the reason it's not in this bullshit, 50-50, and shut the fuck up. Let me tell you something. Feminine energy has its place in the universe, and feminine energy is wonderful. It really, really is. It's not great at leading relationships. The analogy we've been talking about on this podcast, Bob, somebody that we've been coaching. And this is what Bob is struggling with. He's struggling with, like, what do I bring to the equation? You know, what value do I have? You know, why is she better off without me? And he's puzzled. You and I, Anthony, we're more on the Patrice O'Neill spectrum. We think all these bitches are lost without us.
Right. Right.
Because you can't even really fucking rationally think shit out. You have no masculine presence, which is to say, masculine presence is the mountain. Mm-hmm. Feminine presence is the weather that's constantly changing around the mountain. The mountain is the constant. And that, my friend, is where leadership lies.
I'm glad you used the analogy as weather, because I instantly was thinking it can rain and be sunshine at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And do you want the weather in charge?
Hell
or
no.
do you want the constant? Do you want the mountain?
So good.
The mountain needs to be in charge because it's the one constant, especially when you have kids. This is the bullshit beta shit in marriages where these beta motherfuckers, and I'm sorry, this is tough love. We're not here to beat up on you, but we are here to educate you. If you ever find yourself saying, hey, if mama ain't happy,
nobody's happy.
Ain't nobody happy.
Isn't that a little narcissistic?
What, on whose part?
On the woman's part.
Yeah, 100%.
Where, like, nobody can be fucking happy because you're not happy?
No. And by the way, Anthony, I grew up in a household that was like that.
Well, it was true, right?
It was true. Yeah. And by the way, it's still true.
But the man had to allow it, though, right? Because if a man was like, hey, that's not what we...
Again, I'm sorry, you got me emotional. What could these bitches do on the whole planet if we didn't allow it?
Right. Nothing.
We are the power.
Right.
We are the muscle. We are the force.
Yeah.
What can these bitches do?
Complain.
Without us.
Run their mouth.
Yeah, but they could sit in a corner and complain at the fucking wall.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The only way women have power is that they fucking grab a leash and they put it around us and they bridle us. It reminds me of people that are like pit bull owners. You know, they walk down the street and before they were kind of like, oh my God, this is kind of a rough neighborhood. I hope nobody robs me. Motherfuckers buy a pit bull. Once it's at full size, they're looking for rough neighborhoods because they're looking to like sick this fucking dog on people. These terrible, terrible pit bull owners, because from what I've seen, pit bulls are
lovable, man.
They're very lovable to humans.
Yeah,
they're very dog aggressive, which I can't do.
Yeah,
but it's just like motherfuckers get some balls. They get some balls on them if once they own that pit bull, man. They are just like. Not only am I going to walk to the store, I'm going to go drive through my city and find the worst neighborhoods and drive through. That's what these dumb bitches are like. They're like, I got a fucking man that'll do anything I say. Watch this shit. We can't get our friend Bob that we're coaching to understand. What would this bitch do without you, motherfucker? Be a fucking woman, which is less. Unless you are just an alpha female who really has her shit together. And by the way, if men are alpha at 3%, Women are alpha at what?
Less.
0.05%?
Yeah.
So what the fuck could they do without us? What? What would they do?
Like I said,
so,
man.
So their 16-year-old son, and I don't want to be fucking vague. Their 16-year-old son says, "Mom, I'm not fucking coming home." But I told you, come home when the street lights come on or whenever time. Mom, fuck you. What could mom do, Anthony?
She gonna call dad.
I'm talking about it. What could she do by herself? Nothing.
I mean,
it's up to dad, or she could call Uncle Charlie, or who the fuck ever. But again, Uncle Charlie's a man.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna call the grandmother. You don't understand. The grandmother's a really tough broad. Oh, really? You ever seen a 16-year-old chasing pussy that don't want to come home on time? They're pretty tough too, especially if they play linebacker in their high school's football team.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
The thing I despise a lot when it comes to men kind of centering their life around women and how women dictate their lifestyle. Not just their lifestyle, but everything that they do when it comes to finances, decisions in the home, how to raise the kids. It's supposed to be a partnership involved, not a dictatorship like Wesley said. Dictating a man on how a man should be, like we said earlier in the podcast, a woman doesn't know how to be a man. So criticizing a man on how he's not being a man is a little odd to me when it's coming from a woman. A man should be having this conversation with other men in his life, mentors, fathers, father figures, people like that. Not his woman. His woman, if she's his woman, and let's talk about the aspect of the word that I'm using, his woman, as in ownership, right? It's not, even though she's an individual, no one owns a person. But when we talk about relationship dynamics, if a woman claims a man, that's my man, right? And you say, that's my girl, my woman. There's a claim there that dictates a hierarchy, right? Where if let's say, Wesley, you're dating someone and you ask her to, hey, when I come home, I want the house clean and food ready. And she was like, I'm not your woman. You know what I mean? Have you, like...
I've heard that before. I'm not your woman, like they're negotiating. If I was your woman...
Yeah.
Be like, oh, this would be available to me. Okay. Now, you're not going to twist my arm right now and make me make the decision right now, but duly noted.
Yeah.
Yeah, duly noted. I wrote down a note on something you just said about relationships being a partnership. And you're right. But there's a similar partnership that I have at my company where I work with my vice president of operations. We have a partnership. He is the person that manages me. But he's in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
Without a question. You don't go into work and be like, I don't need this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You don't go in.
I don't
and be
need
like,
no VP of operations. I can do my own shit.
Right. You don't ignore his calls, his emails, his questions when he's like, hey, I need to know. Even though if it may not be where you're like, like, we don't always agree with our bosses, right? But when it comes to being a leader in a relationship, you get a certain level of respect up front, right?
Yeah.
You get room to kind of, because you don't always know why they're leading you to do something. You're like, I don't understand this, but he may had a meeting with his shareholders, right? And they say, hey, we need you to move this particular product now, this quarter. And then you're telling you, hey, all your concentration needs to be on this equipment only. You're like, why? But
I'm selling this other shit,
right?
Like gangbusters.
But you want me to
what
do
the
this?
Fuck?
Yeah, this is where I make my money. But yeah, I know you need to sell this too.
And by the way, if it's a good leader, they'll just tell you that shit.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you're being led by a woman, do you think a woman is going to
put a lot of thought into anything?
None of that.
Never.
No. It's emotional. No. It is emotion led, and it's
it's
even worse
minute to minute.
And it's even worse. It's trending led. Like, what's the latest trend?
Trending today. Now, Anthony, I saw this on The View. Chore play. Now, Anthony, I don't know if you understand it. It's a play on words. How foreplay leads to sex, right? Hold on. It's like, bitch, I've already figured this out before you explained it. No, hold on. Just hold on. So, foreplay leads to sex, right? And so, like, it's, you do chores. And so it leads to sex. Yeah, bitch, I got it. I got it when you fucking said it.
Listen, man.
God damn it.
So, I love you said that. When I was doing this research, and it wasn't for the show, but I was like, maybe we'll include it. Here it is. We were talking about. I was watching this show on Netflix called Easy, and
good show.
And I was introducing the show to someone, and I was trying to explain to them how the show was perpetrating that if the man was doing manly chores or manly things, that the woman's sexual drive would increase because he's in his gender role. He's playing a traditional gender role, right?
For doing chores?
No. He was doing chores.
Oh, I see.
He was doing chores. He was the stay-at-home dad, and she was making the money. She was doing corporate shit, right? So they did dress up, where she was the maid now, and he was a plumber / construction worker. It's a funny scenes there.
I remember this episode.
Yeah. So, but it wasn't the man doing all the chores and taking care of the home, taking care of the kids. Women want you to believe this shit. This is a fucking lie. See, this is shit that they use because it's like, how can I get out of doing this shit? Well, you know what? If I offer fake sex to this guy for doing chores, then maybe he'll do it because they know what fucking initiates our drive, right? It was like, well, they like sex, so hey, if you do some of these chores, maybe I'll have time to give you sex. And you see how I said maybe? It's not no fucking transactional. You know what? Every dish you watch is every dish you wash in the sink is every time I get to lick your balls and your dick. You know what I'm saying? It's not transactional, guys. So this is a false pretense.
And also, what I've noticed too with this chore play, it's very there's not a lot of desire.
Well, did she desire that guy?
You know what?
No.
You know what? I don't even care about the desire. What I'm trying to get at, there's not a lot of submission. That's what I need.
Exactly.
I need the submission.
They hate that word, don't they? It gets
Why do they hate it?
It gets all deep into them when they hear that word submission. Like I said that word, and this lady, she physically got like she physically shook, like, submission. And it's like they can't even hear the word, man. And I don't even think they know what it is, honestly. I think they take it as some kind of slave role where
it's not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, motherfucker, where I'm tapping you out with a rear naked choke. No, we're just talking about a woman that's just in her purest feminine form where she submits everything to you. When a girl, I mean, if our ladies are listening so they know what we're talking about, because this is not an anti-women show. But ladies, on this show, you will get called out on your fuckery. And there's a lot of fuckery afoot lately, okay? But ladies, when we talk about submitting to us, an easy example of submitting would be us telling you, get on all fours for daddy, and you just get on all fours and you put your pussy in the air.
Shake it one time, baby. Shit.
But you know what I mean? We're like, they just do what you say. There's just nothing sexier.
And you know what, man? So I'm not gonna go too far because I don't want to call her out.
Did I go too far?
No. I'm saying
I thought that was real simple. Just a girl getting into doggy style.
It is. What I was going to say is that when you were saying that, you reminded me of a situation I was in. I was doing that shit.
Okay. I was trying to make sure I wasn't going too far.
No, man, you good. Like I said, this is our show. We don't give a fuck.
Well, no, but I do count on you from time to time. There could be times I go too far.
I'll let you know.
But I'm just like, I feel like that's a real simple one. Lots of women have gotten into doggy style position, and we're just making you understand that is physically that is the most submissive you can be.
Sucking dick and licking balls is on a submissive level.
I don't know, but when you put your vagina up in the air and you're not even looking
exposed,
what's going in it,
just exposed.
And it's exposed to the whole world. Everybody sees it. Plus, your ass is there too.
Yeah,
inches away.
You gotta trust.
There's a lot of trust, and you have submit to this man. Now
that's one form, but I think the sucking dick to me is one. I'll say this.
Well,
because I'll say
you're already right, because women can just be lazy and getting doggy style.
Yes. Because
you're already right. I already agree.
But because sucking dick is work, and I didn't say licking dick or massaging the dick or fucking when you want to cheat, put both hands on the dick and then just lick, the head. Yeah. You lazy bitch, you suck their dick. I need you to.
I'm okay with a break as long as you go back to a regularly
that's fine.
Program.
That's fine. Look, I'll never fucking complain when you're like, okay, it's a lot of fucking work. I ain't gonna get into all that. But I'll say when they take a break and they was like, ooh, okay, and then they like, all right, and they go right back at it, I get turned the fuck back on. You know what I mean? Because
they have submit to you.
They took the time to say that this is work for me. This is not easy for me, but yet I'm going to do it. And this one chick told me this. She said, I'm not going to stop until you come. And I said, like you're going to do it forever? Because at the moment when I was at, it was not going to happen anytime soon. So I was like, you sure you up for that challenge? You know what I mean? So it was like, she was like, I'm not going to stop. Even when I tried to push her off, because at that point in time, I was like, I want to fuck. But at that point in time, I tried to push her off. She pushed me back down. You know what I mean? She was like determined. And the thing is that beforehand, I asked her, I said, it looks like your mouth has a perfect size for my dick. I said, you know what? We should test that out. And the thing is, we were eating. We was just
her
eating
pussy.
No.
We
were eating food.
I misunderstood you.
We were eating food. That was included in the meal, That's anyway, I ain't gonna go too far on this shit.
Well,
but
see, I
it
cut
was
you off earlier, though. You were going into a story. I don't want our listeners to.
which
Was this the story?
that was earlier. Yeah, we fucked that up.
You're like, you fucked that up, man.
Yeah, that was an earlier
God
story.
damn it, I'm sorry.
But-
I'm sorry to our listeners and to Anthony.
But
My
we
bad.
submit. But women submit in different ways, right? I think the oral sex thing is always one of the things that they get out of, and that's one of the first things to go when
Very well said.
when your relationship. Let's say your relationship is on the brink, or your relationship is not the same. Is she still sucking your dick? That should be your first question.
It's a good temperature gauge, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's one of the things where one, it's a lot of work, and two, how many times have you get to grab the back of her head during this, or you get to like control where how deep she's taking it? You know what I mean? Like
Sidebar to this. Dating black women, I became aware very quickly you do not grab their hair when they're going down on you.
it depends on the bitch though.
It really?
Yeah.
It seems like very much in the minority. Because that's something with Hispanic girls, with white girls, with Asian girls, that was always okay to grab the hair.
Yeah.
With black women, it was like absolutely not 100% of the time. And I'm serious. I'm serious.
Because it ain't they shit. It ain't their hair. You're going to pull their fucking hair out. And they're going to be worried about... Because they spend a lot of fucking money with that shit, man. So if you pull that shit out, it's like they got to go and spend another $300. They ain't trying to hear that shit.
Yeah.
But it depends. That's why I like women with natural hair, man. I don't like that fucking weave shit and all that
You've
shit.
been very consistent on this.
So,
And this is, Anthony, when we talk about shaping your life, do women shape their life to yours, or do you shape your life to theirs? We're missing a very, very important step here. You just mentioned you don't like girls that have a lot of fake hair. A lot of this, where women are shaping their life to you. Mm-hmm. A lot of this is it takes place in the vetting process, doesn't it?
100%.
God,
we're gonna always go back to vetting.
We can't get these guys to do it though.
Yeah,
Well, the one thing, and by the way, I'm very okay with us talking about vetting every goddamn podcast because it's so important.
Yeah,
we can't get these guys to do it. If this bitch has got big titties, big ol' ass, loves
pretty
to suck
lips,
dick,
somebody was telling me this, and I was reading it. I'm sorry, I was reading it in a forum or somewhere, and they was like, they said red pill guys are one bitch away from going back blue pill, and it
really,
I was,
wow, that's interesting.
He was giving the difference between red pill and alpha men, right? And he was talking about, as an alpha, you're going to always be alpha no matter what bitch you get. But as a red pill, you can go back blue pill if you get a bitch that's above who you think you are, or you put a bitch value above your own, right? Yeah. And I agree with that 1,000% because
I do too.
There's no way, because this is the thing, we talked about this too. You can be red pill and not be alpha, and you can be alpha and not be red pill. But when you're alpha and red pill, you're kind of living kind of in that rare ground where you're like Donovan Sharp, and your mesh type shit. You know what I mean? And for me, I see myself as a alpha / red pill, and mainly because I don't placate to women when it comes to how I live my life. We talked about if we as men shape our lives to women, but do women shape their lives to men or to you? And I want to talk about that for a second. A woman that's going to be involved in my life has no choice but to shape her life towards me if she wants to be involved with me. There's a lot of things that happen. We talked about vetting. We talked about vetting a little bit here earlier. Excuse me. Vetting is part of the process where you get to understand if she can reside in the circle of your life as far as what you expect from a woman inside your life. Can she be okay with you being who you are all the time? Or is she going to fight you on it because of some feminist shit that she read in the magazine or that she's listening to on podcast or watching on TV? There's no woman in my life, and this is even hard for me to deal with because I had to make this decision. My mother was one of the most strongest, or I say most influential women in my life, and because when I became red pill and alpha, she found herself not having a place in my life because she was always wanted me to be in that subservient position because she was my mother. And the thing is that even though she's my mother and I still respect her, is that I didn't live my life based on what she wanted anymore. And she didn't know how to deal with that, right? So we kind of naturally separated when it came to our relationship, which sucks, but I didn't choose that. I didn't choose for her to go away. That's just what played out. And I was talking to a friend of mine this week, and I said, the women that I used to be attracted to, as far as how they looked, I don't even care what they look like when they don't fit the mindset that I need in my life today. So if she can't fit in my realm of expectations of what a woman in my life looks like, I don't give a fuck what she look like. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't resonate with me as much as her mindset. And I've seen Wesley firsthand switch from what she looks like only to what is she going to be able to do in my life. Not just bringing, you know how we as men, like Patrice O'Neal said in a very perfect analogy about being able to fish. And we get to show off this fish to our friends and say, look at this nice fish I can catch. But then when I have to give up my boat and fishing rod, it better be for a fish that I don't ever want to fish anymore. You know, I found the ultimate fish. I don't need to fish anymore. But the thing for my life is I've changed things that I thought I would always bring into account when it came to like what they look like. But when I changed my mindset altogether, it always become, what value add is she? How much better will my life be with addition to her being in my circle, right? So I've seen women shape their lives around me by saying, even the religious women, right? Saying that she would rather have a guy who was religious, but by the time she spent time with me, she said it doesn't matter anymore. So I laugh a lot when I hear women tell me like what they want in a guy. When all in all, when they see a value guy, a high value guy, they don't give a fuck about all that shit that on their laundry list or what they think the guy is that they want. They end up following that guy because they was like, you know what, this guy brings value to me, more than I thought he would. But he doesn't allow this or he doesn't want that. So I'm not going to fuck up my situation with him because all of this other shit he provides. So just because he doesn't go to church doesn't make him a bad person. But the women who says you don't go to church so you're bad automatically, I don't want them bitches in my life anyway. So I ain't lost shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you haven't lost shit. But we can't get a lot of our male listeners to understand that, like, they're so results driven.
Yeah.
They meet a girl and they get into video game mode. They're like, okay, cool. Met the girl. Level 1.
Yeah.
How do I get the number? Got the number. Level 2. All right. How do we get to a date? Level 3. So they've already got so much invested.
Yeah.
Right? And this is why we talk about vetting nearly every episode.
Don't over invest when you don't know.
Well, they're already kind of invested. Seriously.
Well, I'm talking about, when we talk about vetting, we're talking about also dating. So when you're dating, don't fucking be taking them out to eat. I don't do dinner anymore. I don't even know the last time I fucking did dinner, man. I haven't done fucking dinner. A dinner date.
Well, I don't understand, Anthony. We've all been taught that's what you do on dates. Why aren't you doing dinner?
I told the chick this. I said, look, I go out for tea and coffee, right? And she was like, well, I said, because that's the best way to get to know someone, because you ain't shoving fucking food down their mouth, a pie hole, and I gotta watch this bitch chew down steak and lobster and shit, and then burp and fucking drink 2 drinks. Now I know this bitch can put down food, and with all that food she put down, she probably gonna have gas, so she ain't gonna want to fuck. So it's like, no, I wanted to meet you and greet you and find out who the fuck I'm dealing with, and then after that, I'll decide if I want to invest any more time into you, right?
Well,
so,
I want to go back to what we were talking about.
Well, let me finish this 1 second.
Oh, my bad.
She said, Anthony, you can get to know her just as much as you can having tea and coffee if you was having dinner. And I was like, let me ask you a question.
Sound like a bitch trying to get some free shit.
Yeah, exactly. I said, how do you know that you're going to enjoy the company that you're in? Having tea and coffee is an easy out. I can leave as soon as I'm uncomfortable. Dinner, you've ordered food, waiters coming in and out and shit, interrupting your conversation. We've all been there, having a good conversation. Waiter keeps coming in. Can I help you? But you see we talking. When you came, you saw us talking before you came over. And you noticed that we haven't ordered shit. We're just still talking. We haven't even lifted up our fucking menus. And you still coming over. I had to tell a waiter one time, I say, look, we're on a date, obviously. Can come back in 20 minutes. We're just trying to get to know each other right now. Hey, we'll have a drink. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just leave you. I'm going to beat your tape, because I do understand, they're trying to get the tab up because they want tips, right? Mm-hmm. But I'll order a drink. I'm going to leave you $5 if this turns sideways, right? You're going to at least get $5. You know what I mean? So, leave me the fuck alone. That's why I end up going to tea places and like smoothie places, shit like that, where we can still sit down at a bar and have a conversation and it still be intimate. And guess what? It's not a lot of things around to like grab her attention away from you. It's one-on-one, it's intimate, and you can typically grab her hand and shit like that, like sit right real close next to her, where typically guys sit across from her and it's like a big ass table dividing you, and it's not as intimate. So I explained that to her. She was like, well, I never thought about all that. I said, of course you fucking didn't, because you ain't out here dating. You're just out here accepting dates. So you don't have to think about this shit. And then let's say how many dates you go on? She was like, I don't know, sometimes it depends. I was like, honestly, how many dates have you been on this month? She's like, maybe 5 or 6. I said, what if we go out to dinner? and that's $50 minimum. And I'm being very cheap with $50, right? $50 a minimum for 5 or 6. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's fucking $250, $300 a month for fucking strangers that I won't see again.
Never met.
And let's say that all the dates suck. So how many times have you been on dates and the dates suck? And she was like, damn, I didn't really think about it. I know you didn't.
Because you ain't paid for it.
Exactly.
I ain't think about it.
Of course you're not thinking about it. You're not, because guess what? You're a traditional woman when it comes to dates.
I'm sorry. Traditional's the word they're going to use?
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, because you need to step up and be a man and pay for this dinner.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to what we were talking about earlier about how invested men get, and I think you just painted it perfectly. So let's just say in a perfect world, you've either got to cold approach, get the girl's number, that's investment.
Yeah.
Met her on Tinder, I had to swipe through 50 bitches to get one match, that's investment. You're sitting on the toilet going through Tinder matches. That's investment. You got to message her to get her phone number on Tinder.
Yeah.
To be able to ask her out. Because that doesn't always happen either.
It doesn't happen easy at all.
Yeah. Hey, I want to ask you. Hey.
And she's texting like 5, 6 other guys at the same time, right?
And
so you got to fight through that shit.
She maybe had a bad day. So she wants to get off on dissing somebody. So you got that investment. You get all these little levels of investment. And that's why men are not vetting women. Because they're like, I just got to get to the next level in this video game. I just got to get to the next level. And along the way, they're not looking, hey, is this good for me? No, I just got to get to the next level. All right, I got her bra off last time. Let me get bra and her pants off. And next date, I'll get the bra, pants, and the panties.
Really?
Like, there's just so... I mean, Anthony, whatever it is, what I'm trying to point out is there's no vetting going on at all.
Yeah.
There's just no vetting. They're not sitting back going, is this good for me? Is this compatible? They're going, I just got to get to the next level in this video game. After that, we'll figure it out.
At all costs, right?
Like, at all costs. I know the bitch is beautiful. That's all I know. And this is how men end up in these marriages where they're like, well, I mean, I've got 4 kids. I've got 4 different baby daddies. And I'm not decided if I want to be in a relationship with you yet. What, bitch? First of all, no guy should ever end up in that situation.
I was about to say,
that's obviously a woman who does not commit or have any loyalty to anybody. She's had 4 different kids by 4 different baby daddies. By the way, if she's got 2 kids, 2 different baby daddies, that's not good, much less 4. But you're just concerned with, being a stepdad? Cool. Can I get to the next level in the video game? And you're not vetting her along the way. Then you end up in a relationship, and 5 years into it, you're like, man, Wesley and Anthony are right. I think I'm building my life around hers, not the other way around. Yeah, motherfucker, because you were not vetting this woman along the way. If you had a good family or friend unit that you were being truthful with, they'd be like, bruh, don't do this. Your mom would never sign off on a woman with 4 kids and 4 baby daddies. Because your mom's a woman and she knows better. Like, that bitch right there, she ain't got loyalty to shit. You know, but you guys are just so concerned about getting to the next level in the video game.
When is the last time you let a woman ruled how the relationship worked and it worked out?
100% never.
Right.
Not in my life.
And it never worked in mine either. And that's why, and this is the thing, when we talk about nice guys finish last. I don't think nice guys finish at all.
No,
And
they don't get to finish.
And
They're over there in the corner with their dick in their hand, and they're being shamed for masturbating.
right.
That's where they are.
right. You ain't getting no dicks up. You getting ass maybe once.
Hey,
once
are you
a
over
quarter.
there watching porn?
Right.
You know that's the same thing as cheating, right? Oh, no more sex for you. You just cheated on me.
You know what? It's an insecurity thing when women, because most of the time, I remember when somebody saw my porn, right, and she was like, "None of those girls look like me," and I'm like,
Exactly, bitch. I'm trying to fuck different bitches. Oh my god. I'm trying to fuck different bitches. I'm not trying to fantasize about you
"Oh my!"
in
you
the
know
porn
what?
I'm watching.
When
what
I
the
was-
fucking fuck?
When I was blue pill, she asked me, she was like, "Did you ever masturbate to me?" I'm like, "What kind of fun is that? Like, what the? I can fuck you. Like, why would I masturbate it to you? Like, that's a waste of a fucking masturbation session. Like, what the fuck?"
Yeah, that is not to say that men don't masturbate to their wives or girlfriends or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it can
may
happen,
be.
but I'm saying,
But they certainly don't, like,
Come on.
mirror their porn around you insecure bitch.
yeah, that's
How
all
the
it was.
fuck did you ever get booed up? Oh my God.
With me?
No shit, man. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of fuckery when you build your life around theirs. Excuse me. Whenever you build your life around theirs and you do not vet, it's very much this is the life you're doomed to. You know? You're doomed to this kind of life. This kind of life where they make all the rules. The rules change daily. And how dare you not follow these rules that change hourly? No, man. Whenever you start out in life as a young man, you have to build your vessel. And it has to be seaworthy. And when I say it has to be seaworthy, it's got to have all the ethics and morals that you're going to sail with for the rest of your life. And the way you live life after that is people either choose to come aboard your boat with your rules, your values, your morals, your ethics, or they can just not be on the boat. And by the way, no problem.
Right.
No problem.
Be okay with that. And that's, you know what? We talk about strength of a man. That's strength. Because to be okay with somebody not choosing you is where, and you're like, cool. And you don't fucking, well, maybe I should change.
Yeah.
So she could, you know.
Because the girl didn't like me. So now I got to change everything I'm doing.
And women, you know what? In the back of their head, it may not be consciously, but subconsciously, she can't respect you when you are fucking floating around changing based on what because she doesn't fucking know what she wants. She knows she wants a man, but she's waiting to meet one, and you're not. You may be a male, but you won't be a man if you're fucking doing what she wants. Because now you're just a fucking robot being programmed.
And that's what this segment's going to be about, Anthony, as we transition into it. We talk a lot about being weak, right? We talk a lot about being weak and all the pitfalls of being weak and things like that. What we don't talk about enough is what does strong look like? And that's what strong looks like. You make your life in a way where you're just like, right or wrong, this is how I'm going to live. And if you're cool with it, welcome aboard.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not, no problem. And strength comes from, as you pointed out, strength comes from not the outcome. And I'm not saying that you don't change your rules along the way
Right.
based on new knowledge and shit
Right.
like that. I mean, if you had 5 bitches in a row, dump you over the same shit, or 5 bitches in a row that you were really into, and they're not into you because you're like, I will not compromise this. You know what my life looks like? Having a giant Wolverine statue in my living room.
Gotta find you a Marvel bitch.
Yeah,
Capcom.
a cosplay girl. But I mean, if it's just like you have to look at the weather out there, right? But I mean, so it's something you're constantly changing. But more importantly, it's not changing because of one bitch. That's what building your life around them looks like.
Mm-hmm.
They come aboard your vessel, not the other way around.
And that's the thing that kills me, man. When you attract a bee with this flower, and then all of a sudden the bee comes and say, you know what, I'm gonna make honey in this motherfucker, and you're like, cool, I got the bee, I got the honey, and then all of a sudden you turn into a fucking weeds, and the bee is like, I don't want to be here no more, and you're like, what the fuck? Well, I can be a flower again, and it's like, yeah, you know what? I didn't know you could turn into weeds, so I think I'm gonna just go.
I'm cool.
I think I'm gonna just go. You can have the honey. You can have the honeycomb, but I'm taking my bee. I'm taking my bee with me. So it's like, don't fucking change to keep a bitch. Please don't, because she came to you as you were. You gotta remember that. I think we forget that part. I think we forget that they came to us as we were and accepted us, and all of a sudden now they want you to change. They want you to shave your beard off, Wesley. They want you to get a different haircut. They want you to dress a certain way. And it's like, who are you changing me to?
And it's like, bitch, I got you like this.
Right. So why am I not enough
all of
now?
a sudden I'm a fucking dork?
Yeah, I'm not enough.
I got you like this. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
And you know what else is strength? When she does give you these bullshit, you would look better in type of comments,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, I kind of look good in anything, but this is my vibe. This is my stilo. This is how this is my style. This is how I'm gonna live my life. What she's gonna do? She's gonna say, I broke up with him, girl, because he loves jerseys too much.
He just loves them jerseys.
I broke up with him, girl,
wearing
because
them.
he refused to wear alligator shoes. Like, what? It just, I mean, it sounds retarded. So why would you fucking flip the script on some dumb shit? This is a shit test that you're failing. She wants to see strength. She wants you to be, as Wesley said, the mountain that's always there.
She doesn't consciously know that.
No.
When she talks with her friends,
that's
they're
not
ripping
her
your shit
conversation.
apart.
Yeah, that's not her conversation. I'm talking to the men as far as like understanding the nature of what it is, or what she's actually doing, and versus what you should not be fucking you shouldn't change who you are, because I haven't. Once I found, and this is the thing, I'll say this, where my strength came from. My strength came from my happiness, because before I wasn't happy. I found out what made me happy, and I did that shit. Once I was doing that, and it continuously made me happy, and I found out that, okay, I wasn't doing this when I was in a relationship because I was in a mode, like for instance, playing video games. Women love to say, or shame men that play video games. Like, you're gonna play on that thing all weekend? Is there something that you gonna do all weekend? Bitch, you think I know the shit that I'm gonna do this weekend, but part of that weekend, and this is part of that weekend is gonna be me playing this fucking video game. Now, I'll say this: the video game for me in my life when I used to play it. Guess what? I play less video games single than I did when I was in relationships.
Wow.
Now,
That's interesting, by the way. That sounds like escape.
yes, that's exactly what I was doing. It was like a buffer because I needed it to fucking deal with what the fuck. I need to get my mind off of what I was doing because I wasn't happy, Wesley. Like, if you're in a relationship and you're happy, guess what? You love spending time with your fucking chick. The shit that you do, the basic shit you do is fun. You shouldn't, it's not a struggle. It's not like, God damn it, I gotta talk to this bitch. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be in the same room.
God damn it. I gotta talk to this bitch.
I was talking to you about I was talking to you and I was talking to my friend Landon. You know Landon,
Of course.
and I was telling him, I said, man, I was told I haven't been around a lot of ghetto women in a long time, and at my job right now, man, I'm fucking around a lot of fucking ghetto women, and
Oh no.
I hear how they talk to men, and it's shit that I cringe. Like, I'm like, it shakes me. It makes me stop what I'm doing, and I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta go correct this bitch. Like, I'll quickly want to be like, hey, why are you doing it? So, but the funny thing about it though, this is the funny thing. The way I hear them talk to other men, they don't talk to me that way. And it's funny because it's like, it's not like they know who I am. I don't got red pill tattooed on my forehead.
Good point.
You know what I mean? It's I think there's a way that you carry yourself as a man that shows strength that women don't challenge.
Yeah.
If they see you as a weak ass dude, they gonna come at you weakly and like they gonna treat you like a kid. Women treat you like a kid when they see you as a weak man.
Yeah, Patrice O'Neal talked about this too when he was talking about the first time he got robbed.
I can't. You got to remind me what that.
Well, Patrice O'Neal was talking about, like, this dude, he just kind of, like, he said a few things to me. He was, like, said some things about me that he knew I could hear him. Like, this motherfucker ain't shit right here. You know, he just knew, like, uh-oh, this motherfucker don't want nothing to do with me. And he picked him out. And Patrice O'Neal is a big motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Patrice O'Neal is a big dude. Sorry about that. Patrice O'Neal's a big dude. And he was very much like, wow, this motherfucker just like picked me out and robbed me. And he was like, this motherfucker knew he could do it. It was like just like what you just said. He didn't have "I'm the motherfucker to be robbed" tattooed on his face.
Yeah.
It was just some sort of energy he was giving out. And the guy was like, yep, that's my mark.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That's my mark. That's what we're talking about, guys. And I hate that this is kind of turning into a segment about what it is to be weak again. You know, I hope what you're kind of taking from this is strength is not doing this shit. You know what I mean? I mean, Anthony, you probably don't know what you're doing when you're displaying strength amongst these new coworkers that you have, where they're fucking with other dudes, but they won't fuck with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably have no idea what you're doing. A lot of this, guys, is And I'll be the same. When I get treated with respect, I have no idea what I'm doing either. You know, I'll do it at work also. I'll be like, hey, I need you to do this, yada, yada, yada. I don't get any pushback from it.
You know why, though, Wesley? It's because it's who I am and not what I'm trying to be.
Yeah.
And I think it's a separation of that. Because when the guys are getting shit tested, it's because she is not exactly sure about this guy. But when she's sure, she's not gonna try that shit because she knows that something's gonna come. There's gonna be consequences. You know what I'm saying? Something's gonna be afoot if I fuck up this way, right?
Yeah.
Just like kids don't fuck up with the parent that they respect. Like they know that they can fuck with the parent that's gonna kind of be wishy washy and kind of, oh well, you know, what did dad say? What did mom say? You know, but if the parent is just like, nah, motherfucker, you don't try that shit with me. I heard you. I already heard you try to ask your mom. Don't ask me that shit after your mom told you no.
Yeah.
You know, then they not gonna come at you with that. Just like where I see guys. This is where I think the difference between other guys and me. I don't look at them in a way where I'm thirsty and shit. You know what I mean? Because these women have voluptuous. How you say the word? Voluptuous bodies, right? They know they can get away. Like I hear. I got tried to tell you before. I said there are women that'll come and they'll get close to me and just lean next to me and just hold it position, and I just pretend like I don't know what the fuck is happening, right? Like I don't give them energy for them trying to use their feminine energy, that's what I say.
Yeah.
Against me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not feeding into it. So there's like they don't know about me. You know what I'm saying? Cuz if they knew me, they knew they knew my weaknesses, cuz women all believe that they got the best pussy and that all men want it.
Yeah.
Right? So no matter who the man is, we've already determined this, that women don't think that they don't deserve you. So if you come to a situation where you're trying to figure out why a woman is constantly coming on to you and you're not responding, it's probably going to drive her crazy, and she wants to know why you're not responding. So I'll say, still be aloof, have conversation, build conversation up, but don't fall into this trap of I gotta fall or I got to play to her advances. I haven't played to any advances, and I think that's playing to my advantage because they can't know what's gonna take for me to get it. Because what most women do, especially women in my guild, they was like, oh well, if he ain't coming on to me, he must be gay, girl. You know what I'm saying? That shit. So again, they want to point something to you at you that something's wrong with you, not them, because everybody wants their pussy. Everybody wants a piece of them. But when you're vetting women and you can see how she moves, because I look at you as a woman, how you treat other people, and how you treat other people could be exactly how you treat me when you're not sucking my dick anymore. You know what I mean? When you no longer want to get on your knees and
submit
to the dick, then that's how you're gonna treat me, and I don't want that in my life. You know, and when I vet, I take my time. I hang out, have fun, hook up. I don't have to do all of this fucking commit. You know, the women who challenge me when it comes to if I'm dating, right? Like when I'm dating, right? And they say, "Well, why aren't you in a relationship?" Like they try to put this. They try to put this. Well, something must be wrong with you if you're not.
What's wrong with you,
right?
sir?
Right. And my thing is this though. I think I've always been able to flip it with that question because I was like, I am dating. I just haven't found anyone who is worthy of being in a relationship with. And if I find
including the current company,
if I find her, I would be glad to be in a situation where a relationship is possible, right? So women automatically do what? Oh, I'm that girl. I'm that chick.
Well, it's all of the solipsistic nature
Yeah.
that they have. And if you don't know what that word means, Google it. But they really do think that they're the center of the universe. Guys, another big part of strength, too, is I need you to understand this. I need you to understand this is a long-time myth. And this is why I need you to be strong. You need to, and by the way, I'm talking about physical looks, okay? When I talk about this, I'm not trying to do this thing where people like say, date a beautiful girl. Whatever you think is beautiful. That could mean she's funny. That could mean she has an amazing, clever, No. I'm talking about hot bitches. Whatever you think is physically hot. By the way, men, don't be ashamed of this. This is how we are built as a species. The males are looking at looks, okay? I want to point out to you, and this is part of being strong. I want to point out to you that part of being strong is not settling for these chicks that are not as attractive as what you're used to. And here's why. I'm always going to give you the why. These chicks that are not as hot as the girls you're used to, they are not going to treat you any better than the hotter chicks. And sometimes,
worse.
Spoiler alert. Sometimes these uglier bitches will treat you worse. Yeah. Once you get in a relationship with these bitches, or once you start dating them on the regular, they are now like, whew, cool. I'm hot enough
to get.
Now what do I get?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it goes, fellas. That's how it goes. Once they feel like, well, ain't I made it? Yeah. They will never think about that ever again. For the rest of their life, they're like, yeah, man, I'm hot enough to get this motherfucker.
Yep.
They are never going to be like, I can't believe how much he sacrificed. I was 75 pounds overweight when I met Wesley. And he took me in. And No. They're like, I was 75 pounds overweight. I was fine as fuck. And now that I've lost 75 pounds, Wesley needs to get on my level. It's like, bitch, I've always been the same size. He need to get on my level. No, dude. Part of being strong, guys, is you got to cut these uglier bitches off. Sorry. We talk about what being weak is.
Man, you said that, and there was a post, and I'm trying to find it. There was a post this guy said, I'm different. He said exactly what you just said, man. I like the 4s and 5s with great personalities. It's not that I don't like hot women. It's just that I'm just weird. I like my view of beauty has more to do with the mindset, brain, blah blah blah. I'm like,
well, let me spoiler alert, motherfucker. there are hot bitches with awesome personalities too.
Right.
Okay.
It's fucking.
By
it's
the
an
way,
excuse.
your level of what a great personality is, I guarantee you, it's very low. Now, what you'll do if you're weak is you'll only deal with these 4 and 5s because you're terrified, absolutely fucking terrified of rejection. Okay? So
Yep,
guys,
exactly.
strength is staying at a certain level on a scale of 1 to 30, a certain level of shit. Now, do you have to be as hot as them? No. So don't let bitches tell you that shit. Women don't care about looks as much as men do. So you have to be strong here. It's and that shit Anthony was just talking about, where that guy's like, I'm a little different. And by the way, let me finish my thought. The guy's like, I'm a little bit different. I only like 4s and 5s, and I'm looking for like great personality. Let me tell you, my friend, those 4s and 5s have just as shitty personalities as all these 9s and 10s. So stop. Okay? There's not, and this is a myth. Let me just get this fucking out in the open. This is a myth. If a girl is hot, she has no personality. If a girl's not hot, she's going to try harder and she's going to have a great personality. Wrong, fellas. Wrong. And let me tell you, 4s and 5s, spoiler alert, they have slept with 10 men. I'm not talking about they've slept with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 men. I'm talking about they've slept with men that are 10s.
Yeah.
So 4s and 5s, in no way do they think you're doing them a favor by getting in a relationship with them. They've already slept with 10s before. They're like, this motherfucker here, this ain't nothing new.
Nope.
Yeah, and they will treat you fucking terribly. Like, guys, this is what strength is.
Because everyone is hitting on them from the lowest of the lows to the highs of the highs. Because even the high side, we talked about it before. Do hunters scavenge sometimes? Yes.
Yes.
So it's low hanging fruit. It's like, I'm not gonna fucking give up this fucking free meal. I'm not gonna pass up this easy pussy real quick. So it's not that. So they have their scale of what they can get is fucking flawed because they had access to it. They think they can always have access to it, and it's like 80% of the women look for the top 20% guys, and even if those women have to share that same guy, they will.
Yeah, but the other thing is, women's sexual market value is always going to be skewed by their relationship market value. So while these dime guys will sleep with these 4s and 5s on a scale of 1 to 10, by the way,
yeah,
they'll sleep with these 4s and 5s. They will never boo up with these bitches, but these girls don't know that. They sit around and go, well, it didn't work out with Brian because Brian said he had a lot of stuff going on. It's like, no, bitch, you're a 4. Brian's a fucking dime with 6-pack abs. That motherfucker in 1,000 years would never boo up with you. But they can't. They think because Brian slept with them. We're #same.
No.
#same, right? #same. No, Brian was slumming. He wanted some easy pussy that night, and he took his washboard abs and dicked you down. And every woman has seen a movie where the Brad Pitt in his prime boos up with the lower bitch. So they just think that this is, oh yeah. I'm just the bitch that just won Brad Pitt because I'm, my personality. And men don't just want looks. Whatever it fucking takes for them to talk themselves into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's absolutely insane. Men, when it comes to strength, that's one of the things that's going to be that's going to be one of the things you're not going to hear on mainstream radio and mainstream talk is part of strength is, guys, you don't fucking boo up with these lower bitches. Sorry. I know that's controversial.
That's a hard pill for them.
I know that's controversial.
I know too. Because the thing is, though, do you do a blended number when you talk about high scale, low scale? Do you include everything that this woman can offer, other than her looks?
Not really. I mean, not in the beginning, because her looks are so paramount to how I function as a human being. All this other shit is whipped cream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there are some cutoffs. If she's just an absolute Jennifer Lopez dime piece, but bitch works at, I'm trying to think where she, if bitch was a stripper.
Starbucks. Oh, damn.
If she was a stripper.
Fuck that. No.
I can't do that.
No.
You know? So, I mean, if she works at Starbucks, no. Starbucks is cool. Discounts at Starbucks is cool.
They got good benefits at Starbucks.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. That's that like these women that think that we're supposed to love them because they have a master's degree in women's studies. It's like, bitch, that doesn't make you more attractive to us. Now, if you're already attractive and you have a master's degree in women's studies, okay, I'm listening.
Yeah.
But these men, Anthony, they've got to get stronger. Because, fellas, what you don't realize is you're not going to get credit. You're not going to get credit for this dating down. You're not. So you're going to have to be stronger. You're going to have to break free of all the feminine-centric bullshit that the world is trying to tell you about how insensitive you are by trying to get the hottest chick. Because that's super insensitive. And how can women live up to these impossible standards? All this fucking bullshit. Men, you've got to be strong and fight through that. And let me tell you why. Your child is going to have these genes, Anthony.
Yep. Even the mindset.
Even the mindset. And God forbid, and this is, and nobody's going to talk about this on any podcast you listen to. God forbid she takes on, or he takes on, and what I'm talking about is if you have a daughter with this woman, she takes on these really unattractive qualities. I'm not kidding, Anthony. I'm going to get blown up for this. Because we're supposed to act like physical attraction is shallow.
Who?
And we as a society, I mean, it's just, we're supposed to act like physical attraction is shallow. And oh, you're just basing it on physical attraction? Like, motherfucker, nobody's just basing anything on anything. But there's this girl I still follow on social media. It's a girl that I used to date, and she got together with this guy, and she had a baby. And the guy is tall, but he's not terribly... He looks dorky as fuck in the face, okay? And you, boy, when you have pale skin like mine, you better hope you don't have bad facial qualities. Because there's nothing to hide. When you're a handsome black motherfucker like you, Anthony, like y'all's skin, no, man, y'all's skin, black people have the absolute best skin. You can't tell if a motherfucker is 30 years old or 130 years old. Like, y'all's skin shows no flaws, man. And it's just like, So this pasty motherfucker she hooked up with, this baby looks identical to this dude. This big, tall, lurch-looking motherfucker. And it's disappointing. You're like, ugh. You're just looking at this baby. You're like, oh.
Do I know this chick?
Ugh. You know of this chick,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes. And it's like, whoa. Ugh. That baby looks exactly like Lurch Dad. I'm telling you, like I'm married to a woman. If my baby looked like her, no problem. And guys, and be honest with yourself, if on a scale of 1 to 10 you're a 3 and you land a 4, I'm not beating you up, guys. Hey, listen. But what I am telling you is, if you're a 7 or an 8,
Don't go below yourself.
Well, if you're a 7 or an 8 on looks, you should be going 10 every fucking time.
Don't go below yourself, fellas.
Yeah, I'm not a 7 or an 8 in looks.
Tell me, let me, and so it's just
that's what strength is.
True CERN right here, right? Like, I remember after reading Corey Wayne's book, How to Be a 3% Man, that I would practice on lower level chicks.
It's a great practice ground.
Yeah. And I kind of got stuck dating only those chicks. Because it was easy. I was on repetition, right? I could easily just, oh shit, look at here. A date. I can do this date in my sleep. But I didn't challenge myself to go above me, right? Because I didn't want to deal with the rejection. I didn't want to mess up and like we was talking about being results oriented. I was like, I don't want to fuck up my streak. And listening to AMS changed my mindset on that. Because,
well, hold on. I want to hear what AMS says, because I don't know what you're going to say. But let me interject really quickly. It depends on where you're at on the red pill.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, and the analogy I'm going to use. So, do you guys often wonder why all these... never mind. They don't wonder. No one fucking thinks about this shit. But let me tell you, if you ever have often wondered how all these amazing boxers will get all the way up to the top and it's their pay-per-view and they're undefeated, it's because their coaches chose their opponents along the way.
Right.
And part of choosing opponents is getting them to a certain confidence level. Yeah. And then you'll really handpick some opponents. You'll be like, all right, cool. They know that they can beat someone at this level, but I want to pick someone at this level, but I'm going to pick a guy that's like old, and he's in the twilight of his career. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pick him. This is a perfect
Get some
opponent.
clout.
I mean, boxing is really, really good at that. They raise you through the ranks and really build your confidence and your skill based on the opponents, right? UFC, which is it's also kind of cool. UFC is kind of like football. The Patriots can play
the field.
Patriots can play the fucking Miami Dolphins week 1. And guess what, Miami Dolphins? You just gotta fucking play. The score's 38-0 at halftime. Motherfucker, you better bring the team out and play the second half. You know what I mean? But boxing's very, very different. So, going back to what you were saying, I don't hate that you were doing that to yourself. You were kind of giving yourself a little bit of leeway. Now you were gonna say?
The reason I was saying I was stuck there though. I was stuck there because I was afraid, and that's not being strong. That's not having strength.
That's not being strong. Yeah.
So going out and guess what? I was also doing. I was putting her on a pedestal without even approaching her. Not approaching the chick is putting on a pedestal, guys. Not you don't have to go there and fucking give her all the validation she needs in a month with your one conversation to pedal. God damn it. Put her on a pedestal.
I think what you meant to say was pedestalize.
Thank you. Because
I don't even think it's a real word, but it's a real word in this podcast.
Right. My tongue did not want to cooperate.
Pedestalize.
If you don't approach someone you want to approach, you just validated her.
She knows.
Yeah, she knows.
Yeah, she knows.
We talked about this last week. Yeah, she knows. So don't feel like you don't. Because my thing was
you didn't get one over on her.
No.
Yeah, no, sir. She saw you looking over there. She's been approached by men before.
Yep.
She's hot. Anthony, because we're in a segment right now about what does strength mean? Because we talk about weakness a lot. What does strength mean? Do you mind, for our listeners' sake, I know if you're a loyal listener to the show, you've already heard this, but for the benefit of this segment, will you go into your rule about approaching? Now, I know you got this from a mentor that you had a while back.
Yeah.
You have this philosophy of like, if you look,
you gotta go talk to her.
Talk about that and break down some encounters where you've almost not done it, and then when you do it, because again, Anthony, we can't hit this enough. This is not a fucking results oriented science.
Yeah.
This is how we live our life.
I'll give you a perfect one. I was at a gas station. Chick was like,
"Oh, but hold on. Will you
Oh,
let them know the rule?"
So, my mentor told me that if I am going to be who I want to be, I have to approach everything with the tenacity that I'm going to win every encounter that I approach as a man, right? Even if I lose in that encounter. But my mentality is about winning. And the way you build a winning mentality is to always be up for a challenge, and you always go after what you want. So if you look at a chick in her eyes and you desire her in that moment, you approach her.
But to what you've said in the past,
you can't.
You have to approach her.
No, yes, it's not a option. The thing is this: if you don't, you lost that encounter.
Yeah.
So you forfeited.
That's a very boy. You talk about taking the training wheels off. That is a very brave ascent on the world.
And he also says
if I look
this,
at a bitch and I admire her, her physical beauty,
yes,
I have to approach.
Yeah. If you don't, you lost that encounter. That's
a fucking badass philosophy. Because let me tell you, iron sharpens iron.
Yep.
And you will be forged in steel quickly, my friend. Now, you were talking about at a gas station, something happened.
I want to put the second part to what he also told me. He said, looking at her, even from behind, is weak and not approaching. If you don't approach, it's weak.
I don't disagree with this.
So if you see her and you look, how many guys have turned around and look at a woman walk away to look at her ass? How many times? And then they just kept going the opposite way. They never went and approached her.
Because that is a mindset. This is why I love this, dude. That is a mindset you're putting yourself into. I can't approach her. Now, we're not talking about becoming the guy on Dave Chappelle's skit where it's like, holla, 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 holla for a dollar, bitch. Holla, holla, holla. Trying to holla at you, bitch. Holla, 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 holla. I mean, but you need to go step into the land of the giants. And whenever I think of that, you know what I think of? Allen Iverson. Do you remember how small Allen Iverson was compared to everybody in the league? But he would dribble into that fucking
everybody.
lane. He would dribble into the lane, and man, he was a phenomenal player. He would just go into the land of the giants, and somehow that ball would come up and would fucking go off the backboard like up high behind the hoop, and like where the fuck did that come from? You know who the first Allen Iverson was though? Kevin Johnson.
Oh yeah, Kevin Johnson was a beast.
He was very much that guy that goes.
He was a rocket killer.
Yeah, he would go into the land of the giants.
Yeah, he dunked on Olajuwon nasty like.
Yeah, KJ was the truth. But you were talking about what happened at a gas station.
Yeah,
I wrote it down so we wouldn't lose point. I just wanted you to talk about what the rule was. If you look at a bitch, now you have to approach.
Yeah. So you was talking about something when I almost didn't do it. I was walking out of the gas station and I saw her. She was like at a She had a Lexus. She was I could tell she was one of these uppity upscale type of female. She was thinner than I like, and I don't really like skinny women, but something about her I desired. And as I was walking to my car, which was the opposite direction where she was pumping her gas. And let's be real, I gave myself this excuse before I went and talked to her. I said, you know what? People don't like to be approached at the gas station. That's kind of, that's gonna be kind of that will put her on high alert. That's gonna look bad. I already walked away. And then my who I am. This is about not knowing what you want to be, but actually being who you are, right? So that kicked in and said, "Nah, did you desire?" This is what going inside my head. This whole conversation. Did you desire? I say, yeah. What did you desire about her? And I was like, them fucking boots just turned me on, man. So I was like, well, go fucking tell her. So I was like, fuck. I'm fighting with myself in my own head right now, right? So I turn around and I go up to her and I take the bag that I had, the stuff I bought with. I took the bag out to throw it in the trash to kind of just like give myself a reason to go in that area. So I threw the bag in the trash and I was like, damn. I said, them boots are wearing the hell out them legs. What's your name? So that was my approach. She gave me a name. I didn't really push too far beyond that. But again, did I stay true to who I was? Or did I be a bitch about it? You know what I mean?
And see, by the way, if you're worried about how did that end, you're missing our whole point, fellas. I don't care if Anthony fucked her in her car right there while the fucking car was filling up with gas, or the bitch was like, fuck you, don't talk about my boots. You guys are missing the fucking point. The point is, Anthony is who the fuck he is. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, that's fellas, when you are yourself, if you guys watch sports at all, the Kansas City Chiefs lost here to the Houston Texans. They lost in KC, but they lost to the Houston Texans. But who won the goddamn championship? Not the Houston Texans. No, man, the Kansas City Chiefs just pushed forward. They were themselves. Played in a Super Bowl where they were losing. Do I have this right? They were losing until the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
I am almost 100% positive.
I had a lot of bourbon
that the Kansas City. Yeah, you and I had a lot of bourbon that night. I am almost 100% certain that they were losing the entire game until they got to the fourth quarter. I mean, just absolutely fucking insane. Here we go. Here's the breakdown. So when they went into the fourth quarter, the Chiefs had 10 points. Oh, Jesus. The Chiefs had 10 points going into the fourth quarter, and the Niners had 20. Okay, they were down 20-10 in the fourth quarter. And what did the fucking Kansas City Chiefs do? They scored 21 fucking points in the fourth fucking quarter.
Damn.
What the fuck, bruh? By the way, both teams had a 15-4 record. You know what the Chiefs did? And I don't care about the results. The Chiefs lost some bad games this year.
Yeah.
But they just kept being the Chiefs. They just kept being the Chiefs. That's all the fuck they had to do, man. They just kept being the Chiefs. And you know what that equaled? It equaled a championship, man. So I don't care what happened in the first quarter where Chiefs were 7-3. Second quarter, they're down. Third quarter, they're down. Fourth quarter, let's score 21 points and win the whole fucking game. They weren't worried about the first three quarters.
Right.
Like, it's fine. We're just going to be ourselves. I'll never forget, we talk about, like, a little man like Allen Iverson running down into the land of the Giants in the lane and just, like, coming up. Dude, I'll never forget. I was on a sales trip for Insco. That terrible, terrible company you and I both worked for. But I was on a sales trip, and I can't remember where it was. It was some bullshit fucking city. But there was this gorgeous, gorgeous black-haired girl at the bar. And there was all these guys around her. And you could all tell that they were white knights and guys trying to hit on her. Just every type of guy you could see. I'm going to tell you, Anthony, there were no less than 7 men around her. A lot of the guys worked at the same company she did. So it was very intimidating. And I remember thinking, like, man, I'm about to be like Allen Iverson. I'm about to have to dribble into the lane with all these fucking giants. But I'm like, I'm going to do it. I don't fucking care. Whether I had the drink that made me brave that night, or I don't know what the fuck happened. This is way before I was red pill. And I came over and I was like, and I remember what I said. I go, hey, first of all, if any of these men here are your boyfriend or husband, I apologize. But I saw you here at the bar, and you're beautiful. And I'd love to buy you a drink and start up a little conversation with you. And it just stopped like that, and just kind of did my hand where, like, start a little conversation.
Next bitch. All right.
and then she just looks at me. She's like, "Yeah, okay." She's like, wow. She thought she was like. She thought she had, like, some Star Wars shields over. Like, she
thought she was protected.
Yeah, you could tell she thought about that. You know what I mean? And she's like, yeah, wow, you're just very brave to come in here like this. Because I'm not kidding. She was surrounded by, like, 7 dudes. One girl. There was no other girl there. And we sat there and we talked. If you're interested in the outcome, fellas, didn't take her up to her room and bang her and none of that shit. But we did have a nice time sitting there chatting at the bar. And I remember that changing me forever. I remember because I was like, wow. 7 dudes around her. And all these 7 dudes, Anthony, they looked at me like I was on steroids or I was stealing signs in baseball. Like, they were like, hey, I've been working on this shit all night.
Yeah.
You don't get to just skip the line. I mean, that was very much their opinion. They're like, you don't just get to skip the line. And, hey, fella, you like know your role. It was just like very much like, but now as a red pill guy, I'm like, no, motherfucker. None of you motherfuckers were brave enough with this dime to just be like, hey, I'm here to hit on you. What do you want to do? Do you want to accept my drink? You don't have to. You don't have to. And of course, her and I sat there and talked. And of course, as Corey Wayne says, don't be on group dates.
Right.
It kind of became a group date after a while. You know what I'm saying? Because every guy was like, oh, hey, this guy that's hitting on her is now hitting on her. Maybe I should hit on her now.
Right.
And,
now,
it kind of became...
Now all of a sudden, motherfuckers brave.
Yeah. Yeah, now that they've seen me do it.
Yeah.
I mean, me jumping in there. And by the way, everybody in that group knew each other. But me jumping in there was like the first wildebeest that jumps into the river in the Great Migration.
Yeah, yeah.
But I made it across, and I'm out there shaking off the water, and they're like, "Well, I can do this shit too."
Yeah.
No, you can't, motherfucker. Because you've been dancing around this chick probably for the whole week of the conference you guys are on at this fucking hotel. Now I remember what city it was in. It was in Dallas. Yeah. You guys been sitting here in Dallas for a week, dancing around this bitch, treating her like she's Queen Sheba, and you see this wildebeest cross the river and make it through alive, and you're like, I'm feeling a lot more confident now. Okay, motherfucker.
We talk about
that's what strength is, though.
Scavengers see the hunter go grab some shit, and he's like, I wonder if I can do that. But guess what, man? I think strength comes from mentality. So my mentality was to not be defeated by myself, because strength is overcoming your fears and never allowing your fears to dictate how you move in life. I don't fear myself. So when I'm in situations and I can be calm in situations that other people are not, they're allowing their fear to overcome them, and they don't know how to act or move or go back to your training to when you were and I think I said this before, when I was like, you go back to your default training when you get put in a situation where it's unexpected. Like there's like we both been in the military, so when you go through certain training on the ship, I was on the fire team, so if there was a fire on board the ship, I had to go to the DDC where I was on the comms. So I was on the comms with the first people going into the fire, to the part where they were actually fighting the fire. So I would get all my information from command, and I would tell them what to do. They would tell me what the situation is, and so, what kind of fire, what kind of smoke, so we can figure out what ordinance we need to put on the fucking fire.
On the fire itself, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we can't just put water on the oil.
Yeah,
fire.
exactly. I mean, different type of fire, different kind of ordinance.
So,
right?
So we're there's a lot of information that needs to be
Jesus, that's
relayed.
Intense, man.
Yeah. So you're being trained through this with false fires, but when a real fire actually happens, you go back to your fucking training. And so if you've never been trained, if you never fucking challenge yourself to fight your fears and go after what you desire, no matter what it is, a woman, a job, a baby, no matter what the fuck it is you desire, you go get it. And you become a better person 100% of the time doing that. You don't become a less person doing that.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to take a back seat when you were talking about military training. It was just like, we use the analogy on this show that you've got to be the captain of your vessel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just like, whenever you talk about Navy shit, I'm like, hold on. Anthony's he's breaking down real life experience, but it's also a great analogy to what we talk about literally on every podcast.
Yeah.
Whenever you talk about Navy shit, you know what I mean? So when you started talking about fires, I mean, Jesus Christ, I can think of 10 analogies.
Well, we can't call the fire department in the middle of the ocean.
No.
They're not coming.
They ain't coming.
So we can't call another ship to say, hey, come fight our fire for us, and then put your people from your ship on our ship that fight fire. There's no fucking firefighter ship. We all have to do our own firefighting. So when it comes to shit like that, that's like living your life. Being strong or being red pill or being an alpha, if that's who you are and that's the vessel you are floating in life, then you have to train. You have to train yourself mentally. You have to challenge yourself socially. Just like it's not fun for me to go into this group on Facebook and challenge guys.
No.
Because
it makes me sad.
Well, yeah, because I think when I was in this group that I was going to be going into a group of like minds.
Me too.
And
yeah.
It is disappointing to see.
Makes me sad.
Yeah. It's disappointing to see that when you challenge other men. Now, I'll say this. There are men in there, I want to say a handful, maybe 5 people in that group that understands red pill and kind of get what we talk about on our podcast or even in our comments, right? Because it's not a lot of glad handing in there, so we're always on the on the minority side of opinions, but I don't give a fuck when I feel it, when I'm passionate. I don't care how you receive it, because at this point in my mind, you need this shit. Like, you're in desperate need, because when I come at you in that way, just like a coach that's telling the player, he's like, look, motherfucker, if you don't get this right, you won't play for me. You know what I mean? You won't get on the field. You will not see the field. I need you to master this technique, or I need to see that you're capable of holding your own in this position. Otherwise, the other 10 men that do their jobs, you're going to fail them. And then you're going to fail me as a coach, and then fail my head coach. So, and fail the owner of you fail so many people for one fucking person. And if I just shut my mouth and let you get away with bad techniques, I'm a bad coach.
Well, one of my most favorite quotes comes from one of my least favorite football coaches. I'm not kidding. It's one of my least favorite football coaches, but I will tell you, it's literally, it might be my favorite quote of all time, and it comes from Nick Saban, and it refers to leadership. And the quote is, either you taught them to do it or you allowed it. End quote. I mean, there is nothing that sums up leadership like that.
Yeah.
Does it? Either you taught them to do it or you allowed it. It really, I mean, that phrase really, I mean, for men that are serious about leaders or admiring, even if they're not leaders, if they're serious about admiring leaders, Civil War, Operation Iraqi Freedom, whatever. It applies across the board, doesn't it? It's just like, if you're a leader, it really fucking strikes you to the core. Whenever I say that quote, I watch men in the room, and it kind of stops them in their tracks.
Right.
It really does. Because it really, as a leader, it really boils down to those two things. Mm-hmm. Either you taught them to do it, or you allowed it. There's as a leader, there's no gray area.
That's why
that's why that motherfucker's won a lot of national championships.
Yeah. And again, I noticed it from you and myself. It'd be times where he's like, you know what? I can't shut up on this. I can't allow this fuckery to stay afoot.
No.
Like when you see so much blue pill vomit just spewing everywhere, it's like I gotta put an end to this shit. I can't let this shit go past without saying some shit.
It's not getting us to our destination.
No, it's not we're not making friends by putting ourselves out there. We even had a hater specifically point us out as some kind of fucking like trying to pawn off some shit, like made up some whole fuckery about us trying to sell something, and I was like, "What the fuck are you saying?" And
it's like, bruh, our podcast, I mean, whatever little money we make on this, like, pays for the electricity that we use to fucking make this podcast. I mean, this is a real labor of love. And I will tell you, as we start to end the podcast, when it comes to identifying what strength is, and I know we've talked about this on the podcast before, but I think it bears repeating. What I think the most important strength that we can have as men is the strong, unwavering belief in ourselves. I was very, very young when I heard a very influential interview with Sugar Ray Leonard. Anthony's already nodding his head. This interview just really shaped my life. I saw Sugar Ray Leonard, and he was talking to kind of a regular, sports interviewer. And, you know, Sugar Ray Leonard, who was played very, very well by Usher in a most recent movie. Usher did a really good job playing him. It wasn't the main character, but Usher did a really, really good job playing Sugar Ray Leonard. You guys should check that out. But anyways, he was sitting there with just that kind of a whatever interviewer, and he was like, "So, how do you think you pulled off this upset victory?" It was when Sugar Ray Leonard had that huge upset to become the champion for the last time in his career. And they were wondering, why should he even come back? And he ends up winning by decision. And he talked about, I'll never forget this. He got like really solemn, and he was just like, I'll never forget it. He goes, my parents didn't believe in me. My fans didn't believe in me. My kids didn't believe in me. My in-laws didn't believe in me. My own wife didn't believe in me. And I literally had to get up every morning when I trained and had to look in the mirror and I had to believe in myself. And he said, that's when I realized if you ever want to be a true champion in anything, you have to believe in yourself no matter what.
You're trying to make me cry over here and shit, bro.
Guys, that is where ultimate strength comes from, is believing in yourself. And let me tell you, believing in yourself in this world in 2020, believing in yourself sometimes can be a lonely, lonely place. Wow. Sorry about that. We had a technical issue. All right. Anthony, where can they find us online?
Man, everywhere. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Gmail, at the Red Pill Fountain at gmail.com.
We would also love to have you in our Facebook group, the Red Pill Phone Tap. I'm sorry, it's Red Pill Phone Tap in Facebook.
Yes.
We would love to have you guys.
Well, we also on SoundCloud and podcast on Apple and Google
Podcasts, Spotify.
Yeah.
We're on pretty much every major format that there is. Let me tell you guys, a lot of you.
Hello?
We do appreciate you guys joining us all over the world. And we appreciate you every time that you join in to the Red Pill
Phone
phone
tap.
tap. Sorry about these technical issues. We will fix them next week. Love you guys.
Peace.